of you, i.e., not Sooner, because I already had Sooner roll and it was deplorable. Sorry. Want to roll culture? I can fill you in with some details about
Don't have
what
it.
you know. You don't have culture. Well, no, this is an untrained check. This is
Oh.
kind of like a have you heard this name on the street, not have you done your
Oh, yeah,
history
I forgot you
homework.
can make those insurance.
Yeah.
It's a Pathfinder. 2, you cannot. Oh, it's not even worth
Technically,
rolling.
technically you can't roll culture untrained by yourself, but your DM can always ask it for you, I think, or something like that. Or if like the DC is low enough, you
Oh,
can
man.
make those checks. So I don't know
19.
where you rolled it. It was in
Chat
here.
box.
Cool. 19. Okay, sweet. So you've definitely heard of Navik. She's got a good reputation, you know, which is hard to come by in this line of work. As much as anyone can have a good reputation, she typically only works with employers who are pretty trustworthy or pay very well, and tends to keep pretty good relationships with the people she works with. You've heard of her, which tracks because you can't really last long in this business, i.e., mercenary work, if you go around pissing everyone off. She's pretty low key. It's not like she has a big office somewhere or like a big name agency. Which means that she only really attracts people who are starting out or people who know who she is. She doesn't typically reach out unless she has a very specific job in mind. And she's pretty well connected. That's kind of just what you've heard on the street. So, a name that's pretty popular. And did we get one from what? How do I say your character's name, Mew?
Wakel.
Makel?
Wakel.
Wakel. Okay. Did we get one from Wakel as well, or did you just want to go and say that he just does not know?
I'll be happy to roll.
Okay.
Just get to it.
Now, Serve has a token, and I believe Sooner does too. Did you manage to get a token, Mew, or?
No, I didn't. I did
Okay.
not do it.
Let me see what I have for
Token?
you.
You,
What's up?
I think your avatar image serves as your token.
Yeah, unless you literally,
Oh.
yeah, like unless you literally have no token, your avatar will serve as your token, which is fine. Recent uploads. Now I'm looking for this.
Skill. Culture.
I believe in you. And remember, on Roll20, you can,
Hey.
you get pretty much the same information. You've been on Versace for about a few months now, on and off, and you get pretty much the same info. You know, this is a reputable person. You kind of know what she's about. This area of town, I'll say, is you're right underneath the Skydock. And I don't know how much you, the players, know about the Skydock, but you, the characters, know that the Skydock has sort of been. It used to be Versace kind of like Lifeline. It was their way to get into space, and so this area was a major trade hub. Back during those days, a bunch of these, there was like sort of a real estate boom at the Skydock's base. A lot of high-rises were constructed, and a lot more were initiated. But over time, as drift travel became more and more convenient, and more city-states gained access to ports and stuff like that, Skydock's favor waned. And these days, it's more tourist attraction than anything, that the locals would get pretty cross at you for saying that. That also indicated that a bunch of these real estate developments kind of slowed down and petered out, changed hands a bunch of times, and eventually you ended up with this sort of stack of derelict, kind of abandoned, not really like tended to or looked at skyscrapers. And that is where you have all been called to today. So,
Oh, I forgot to start. I forgot to record. You want to do that all over again?
I've been,
No.
I've been
I'm just
recording.
kidding.
I've been recording.
Okay. All right, then I'll leave it.
It's okay.
I won't sorry,
That was
at
nothing.
least.
That was nothing super formal, but it was just sort of like your background for where you are right now. I think I'm good. I'm gonna do this later, assuming you even get here. So you may go a different way. Look at that. Okay, so.
Just looking for that chart in the Galaxy Exploration Manual where you can roll for your like backgrounds. Oh, page 9.
Ooh, yeah, definitely glad they added that. Give me 1 second, too. I think I need to find this. had like a thing that I wanted. Oh my god. Okay.
I'm going to roll a D100 for my
Please do.
party relationship.
Oh,
What do I roll? I can't-
Oh wow.
100.
keeping it at 100.
Hey. What does it
Does
mean?
it mean you're like ascended?
It's your party relationship, right? That's curious.
So perhaps my character and another character have survived the same mass tragedy. Perhaps
my
an
God.
invasion, crash landing, or hurricane.
Whoa.
Whether or
Okay.
not you met during the disaster, you've bonded over your shared loss and
Hmm.
suffering in the time since. Wow,
Okay.
pretty heavy shit.
Mm-hmm.
We were in a disaster movie together. This is like the sequel.
Lost 2.
This is the squeakquel, even. Alvin and the Chipmunks. Okay. Oh gosh. It has been such a long time since I've used this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. I think that works.
What works?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm trying to put a token on a map in a way that it doesn't look like it's huge and distorted and ugly. And it used to be that I knew how to count these things so that they looked normal. And I was just trying to make that happen again. And it worked. Look at me.
Nice.
Okay. Cool. So, the three of you find yourselves in one of these derelict skyscrapers, the 15th floor of a set of 3 interconnected by a series of bridges and such. These were originally development meant for some sort of banking conglomerate that got folded into Abadar Corp ages ago. You meet each other sort of in the entranceway into this large open area. You figure that at some point these would have had walls, maybe been a cubicled office space, but ever since the development froze, it's sort of just been left in this state, barren and open. You can see cords and connections hanging from the walls and ceiling, maybe where light fixtures or screens would be. Open to the sky, the air, is the eastern wall. And you can see the ever-setting, never-setting sun of Versace in the distance, this sort of bright line of sky that cools off into this gradient far above you out of view. This sort of eternal twilight of this area casts the entire building into this golden glow. As you walk into this area, you see Navix. She's a relatively stocky, sturdy-built woman. She's around 5, maybe 5'6", dressed in coveralls with a thick jacket on, guarding against the sort of constant breeze coming in through the open skyscraper. She's bent over something, fiddling over a pile of electronics, and her face is underlit by the sort of bluish glow. Hair tied back in a no-nonsense serious bun, drab gray, and as she turns up and she looks at you, you can see that she has these sort of piercing gray eyes. Token if you need it. Thank you. I will use
Oh,
that.
I meant to put that in whisper. Sorry.
It's okay. Yes. She beckons you over as you 3 walk in, right at the meeting time. Stepping forward, sort of tossing the comm unit she has in her hand to the side and discuss it, clatters to the ground, says, "All right. Glad the 3 of you made it. Give me one moment here. Sorry, introductions. Hi, if we have not met yet, my name is Navix. I'm organizing the job for your employer, who's chosen to remain anonymous at this time. We're calling him Mr. Green. I don't know why, just because. This is theoretically a very simple job. I've got 2 local girls here, and you," she gestures to the third. And we don't want to make a huge scene of it. Theoretically, should be pretty quick. Before we talk details, I need to get this doodad working, because you're going to need it, apparently. Why don't you mingle between yourselves, introduce yourselves, what have you? And she turns back to, and kind of fiddles with this strange-looking device that has, like, a few prongs on it and a few flickering lights. This is the thing that you saw sort of glowing on her face previously.
And we don't know
So-
anything about the job.
No, you just know
Okay.
that it's a retrieval mission. You're not expecting, like, it's not a war, which is why there's 3 of you, and it pays well.
Cool.
So yes, she goes back to fiddling about her device, and you're left standing there awkwardly, hands in your pockets. She said you can mingle, but you can also just stand there awkwardly while she finishes. You do you.
Guess I'll start.
Yeah, you can.
There is a somewhat short female Vesk, light sky blue scale coloring, wearing the description of the armor, ballistic plating, fabric reinforcement, even ceramic in some placing. It's very thin, very tight fitting, athletic clothing fits over it. There is a advanced energy rifle on her back, a pistol in the holster with something hanging from the edge of it, a long line of cable coming from it off to the side of her hip, and that's really it.
Okay. You say anything, or you're just gonna stand there and
She
wait?
just kind of looks up and down and tries. Do I recognize? I assume I don't recognize either of these two.
No. I mean, I imagine they both don't do a lot of very loud work, you know?
Okay.
And I say loud not in the volume sense, but in the very much like, hi, I'm here, pay attention to me sense, you know?
Well,
You say it's
no.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, you can go.
No, please go.
So you have in what looks like well-used armor. Shunta weave. Scoring. It looks like it's been through hell 3 or 4 times. Of different types. Not really seeming like the person cares too much about how well kept they keep the armor, or it's either that, or he intentionally has it look like it's relatively well used. And by the way, this is a small goblin. Big head.
Is this heavy armor or
No, light armor.
okay?
It's
sorry.
light armor. His weapon, however, is a long arm. Looks very well kept. Very streamlined. Cryo weapon. He looks over at the 2 of you. Looks over at the female Vask and goes, "Right there.
I think she
It's
just
impressive."
kind of looks down at him and just kind of turns her head like, this is gonna be strange.
Now, did you say we're in the twilight zone, obviously.
Yeah. So you're closer to the, so yeah, geographically speaking on Versace, you're closer to
Yeah, very close
dark
to the dark
side.
side. Yeah.
Mhm. Which is, I think, where Skydock is. I should have checked a map before I
It's
said
100%
that.
where Skydock is.
Okay, cool.
I'm very familiar with Skydock. Somewhat.
Now, there is some unusual material on his armor.
Okay.
Like it's part of the
Not
armor, or
something
there's something
people normally see. Huh?
like it's part of the armor, or there's like something
Yes,
like
there's
coating
certain material that's been incorporated at various
Okay.
points across the armor.
it, some kind of reinforcement or something.
Okay, so
And it trickles.
in the somewhat maybe dim light of the scene here, you're not even sure there is a third person there, but if you kind of look right at her, you'll see her. But if you're not in her periphery, she is pretty much invisible. She is wearing just looks like some kind of snake leather armor, very, very form-fitted, and not encumbered at all with any sort of modifications. Looks like just someone like wearing regular clothes. There are no weapons on her. She has not even a sidearm. Her eyes are just solid white. She is for those of you who would know, a Kayal, who is a ancient ancestor of humans that fled to the Shadow Plane long ago,
Ah.
and since then have formed into their own species named Kayal, or if you really want to piss them off, Fetchling.
Ah, haha. See, I'm playing a fletchling in my Pathfinder game.
Oh,
I forgot
There
about
you
that
go.
name because I looked it up earlier.
yes. Well, Fetchling is the derogatory term to a Kayal.
It's good to know.
It's kind of like what we call ourselves versus what they call us.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
Are you like, are you more like pale skinned or like very dark? For
She has
for
the
Kyle.
very steel grayish kind of
Okay.
skin, but she very much, walks silently. No clunky bits. She's got a few, belts and straps. Looks like Mace may have some, important necessities like med patches and healing serums. Hand wraps over her hands. You could see she's got like her knees are also wrapped. Any close observation, could see that this armor is well worn and built for flexibility.
She look like she's built like a fighter.
She also has a she's she's you can see she's definitely got muscle definition, but she moves with a kind of a grace, and she has a swirling white tattoo that kind of curls around her jaw, around her neck, and down to parts below. Also, one last thing.
Mhm.
She is absolutely covered in piercings.
Okay.
Her eyebrows have multiples. She's got her septum pierced. Her lips are pierced on opposite ends. A throat piercing,
Ooh.
kind of like across the septum there. Her ears, just use your imagination. Yeah, and you really can't see the rest of her. She's kind of covered in a very dark cloak. I usually do wear my work alone.
Yeah, I mean, and she's still kind of like half distracted with this stupid device. I understand that. I really do. But look, we're all flying a little uncomfortable here. I heard about this relatively recently. So, work with me, all right? It pays. Ah! Haha! And the little device chimes and pulses just very slowly. The solid, like, blue flicker. Kind of like the soft whoom, whoom, just over and over, like once a second or so. Good. Okay. That's working. Right. So, I heard about this around 72 hours ago. I threw together the best team I could. It should be relatively quiet. You shouldn't get... I don't think anyone knows about this. So, welcome to developmental hell. These 3 skyscrapers have been sort of frozen for the past... She walks now, sort of, her back facing to you, gesturing out into the skyline. Maybe 15 years. Story goes that in between all the mad changing of hands and such that these rich, well-to-do folks do, someone decided to hide something here, and that is what my client is after. A vault of middling to fairly impressive size, with something peculiar inside, though he has neglected to describe what. he asks for my discretion in the matter, and I'm more than happy to comply. He's offered my finder's fee and then some to each of you, matched. So you will each be receiving 8,000 credits, 10,000 if he determines that you've done a good job, i.e. haven't blown anything up. Any questions so far?
Meta
Sounds
question.
straightforward enough.
It should be, you know. Fingers crossed.
What is it? You won't say, right?
No.
Is it-
It's small, and you don't need to extract it, you just need to find it and secure the location to ensure that his extraction team can find it without too much ado.
Is extraction an option?
Extraction's always an option. I mean, if you want to, I'm sure he will be happy if you manage to bring it to him as opposed to having him fly out his whatever the hell he wants to. But the deal is 8,000 credits each if you can get in, find the vault, deactivate any security, and make sure there's no lingering bad stuff. And he says you can help yourselves to anything else you find along the way. He's only interested in what's inside the vault. Specifically, she says, where this comes in, this is twofold. It is your key to the vault, and apparently some sort of dowsing machine to find what it is he's interested in. Beginning to think this is all a mad goose chase, but 8,000 credits is 8,000 credits, yes?
It's in one of the.
Any other questions? Pardon?
It's in one of the 3 skyscrapers. They don't know which.
No, I have a pretty good idea. I've done my own groundwork, so to speak. And she points to one, the sort of next in the sequence. The 3 skyscrapers are sort of in sequence. And you can see that the bridges from skyscraper to skyscraper are at different levels. There's like, there's one a few, like maybe 15 stories up, and there's one and maybe another 20 stories above that. So you'll be taking the elevator, crossing over, and then I think you'll be on the level of the vault. I don't know. It's been very hard to map out these skyscrapers. They're kind of precarious, and I'm not really meant for field work, So
Do we have an idea of what this vault looks like?
it's big. It's got a big steel door. It's the only thing that's finished.
Got it.
Also, that thing's gonna start beeping like mad, apparently.
Okay, so what is this device that she's
So she hands you this kind of like a little. It kind of looks like a modified comlink. It's a little bit more hardened than a comlink, so you can tell like it's a little sturdier. Has a little antenna at the top and a little like kind of like a heartbeat sensor, like from Aliens.
right?
But instead
radar.
of like making the
Proximity
ominous,
kinda.
yeah, but instead of making the ominous noise, it just sort of pulses this faint sort of bluish light on the radar screen instead. She says, apparently it emits some sort of signature that thing is going to be able to track. When you find it, it's going to go beeping like mad, and you'll tag it, and we'll be done.
Do you know what floor it's on?
Ostensibly, well, I had one of my contacts do a drone sweep. It should actually be that one that the bridge connects, she points. This floor 43
Well,
over there.
that's
Ostensibly.
convenient.
Yes, I have some photographs if you'd like. And she pulls up a set of relatively decent resolution photographs of a large steel door. And she sort of indicates it. I will say this though, the drone, and then she flips through some other photographs, indicated that the crossing was rather, how do you say this, precarious? So again, it seems sketchy. If I would not fault you for going lower and then climbing up either. So, whatever you deem best. You're the field operatives.
Well, I guess I'll have to just take a look at it first. She looks over the 2. Which one of you is the safe cracker?
That would probably be me.
She just looks down at the goblin.
Yep. I know technology, know computers, and unlike some of my people, I know our reputation. I usually don't blow up things.
Okay, she's prioritizing people. Okay, he needs this. Are you? Is it a he, she, it?
What, the goblin?
We,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
collective,
no,
a goblin
no,
collective.
definitely male. Definitely male, and
Okay, yeah, you
either one
said it
have
was a
sense
male.
motive?
That's right.
Anyone have
Obviously,
sense
male.
motive?
No,
Oh,
I
sense
don't.
motive.
That's good.
I'm the DM. I have infinite sense motive.
Natural one.
Hey, sir.
Okay, so she's saying like this goblin stay alive. The Vesk is just kind of. We'll see what the Vesk can do. Just what she's thinking to her inner.
Hey, sir.
Yep.
Do you have 60 HP or 90?
Oh, I don't know. See, is there a conflict?
Yeah, just when I keyed in your HP on your token, it says you have 90 out of 60 HP.
I don't know why it would say that. I should have 72 stamina, 60 hit points.
Okay, got it. I will change that.
It's not really a bluff thing. It was more to see
That's the idea.
what his evaluation of people are,
Okay.
and everyone managed to roll really low.
Yes. So I'll let you handle all the nonsense you'd like to, but yes. Any questions?
Any
Where's the dra-
critters now in the building?
Any what?
Well, it's
Mention
abandoned.
guard.
What kind of critters do you have around here?
Well, theoretically none, though. Theoretically none.
Raquel definitely looks disappointed at that part. Everyone can tell this.
I mean, no one can say for
Understood.
sure, obviously, yes? Okay.
I actually have not. I actually have plus. I should have 11 resolve because I have extra resolve.
Ah!
I'm
Oh,
just gonna figure out how
yeah.
to change the number.
You have to change the macro.
Yep.
It's real fucking frustrating. I will
Macro is so off on the resolve.
do that. It's literally just +2.
I just
There you
entered
go.
mine manually.
Boop. Because extra resolve is flat, right?
Yeah, just
Well,
+2.
I prefer to
Baseline for
climb,
resolve.
but
If you want to climb, I would say keep up.
she smirks.
Yeah,
The
unfortunately.
poor goblin.
How far is the
I'm not
is the
usually
tower
one to
from here?
climb or
So-
fly.
The tower is around 120 feet. The span between the two buildings is it's a little more. It's like 240 feet. The span
Ooh.
between the two buildings.
Okay. And
the
she has
distance-
go ahead.
The distance to the next bridge is around 150 feet. And then there's another bridge below you about 30 or 40 feet. It's not that far below you.
How far are we above ground on the 43rd floor?
Dizzying. You are
Wait,
400.
If you just answered your own question.
Well,
Yeah,
I meant
you're-
like I didn't know if like height elevation was different for this.
I'd say Astoria is around 10 to 15 feet tall.
Okay.
I'd say I'd err more on 15 feet than anything, honestly,
Okay.
especially towards the base where the
Just gets me
foundation's
ballpark.
going to be a little thicker. So yeah, you're at least 500 feet off the ground, is what I'd say.
Does anybody have a med
Try
kit?
not to belly flop.
Med kit, no. Med patch, yes.
No.
We're gonna need
Zero.
medical supplies. Group this big is bound to run into trouble.
Well, I mean, I have a band-aid. I don't know. You're the specialists. Figure it out. There's no timetable on this, save that, I don't know, he probably doesn't want this to take 3 years, so... Oh, wait, no.
Yeah, never mind. If we need
Friday.
to use a med kit, it's probably
It's probably borked.
bad.
Yeah.
Whatever.
There's either going to be no one here, or if
That's a
there's someone
hot
here, we don't
mine.
have time.
Alright, we good?
Set.
Okay, good. There's an episode of Absalom Nights tonight, and I don't want to miss it. And she just stalks off towards the elevators. Call me when you're done.
Very
The
well.
elevator doors slide shut behind her, and it
Oh.
leaves. You three are left on the 43rd floor of this relatively abandoned skyscraper. Where would you like to start?
Oh, I meant to ask her about what does she mean by shaky by the bridge.
Oh,
Uh,
you looking at the pictures, you don't even need an engineering score to check. It wasn't finished. And in many ways, what was left there wasn't even the bridge, it was just like the construction scaffolding, which over the years of disuse and neglect has deteriorated and sort of falling apart. So you know, like the scaffolding that they use in big cities for like the sides of high rises and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like that, but like all the panels are like sort of jank, and some of them are definitely missing or kind of shaky or sketchy looking. Like it's not a very scientific thing, but it definitely looks sketchy to you, especially for someone who does as much second story work as you.
All right, well, let's check it out. Let's check out this bridge.
So there's bridges sort of regularly interspersed. The one that's closest to your target is the sketchy one. There's more. Yeah, whatever you'd like to do.
Let's make our way there.
Where?
I've seen worse bridges.
So you want to go to
Granted,
the?
that's
To the
after
bridge. We're gonna
they've been-
check it out.
Okay, so the
have
upper
rockets
bridge.
launched
Okay.
at them.
Mm-hmm. Or we can bypass the crappy one by taking the lower bridge and then going up in the building.
Theoretically, yes. I mean, it's a skyscraper, right? Like you could take the stairs down to the bridge below you. You could take the elevator whenever it gets back from ground floor.
In my
Like,
experience, what would I know the winds to be like at this elevation?
so at this elevation, the winds are fairly brisk. Especially exposed with no shelter. They can make climbing tricky, not impossible, just tricky. There's sort of this constant breeze coming sort of from the sunward side of Versailles to the dark side of Versailles. And while most modern high rises have some sort of nominal wind shielding or like some sort of like barrier that prevents wind shear from knocking them over at high heights, these, as unfinished, probably lacking them.
Yeah, we definitely need to get across then if only 2 out of 3 of us can climb, as I do not want the goblin to turn into a pancake.
Well, we haven't even seen
I
it yet.
appreciate that.
Let's check it out, and then we'll make a decision once we get there.
Okay, so you're heading up to the upper sort of more rickety bridge. All right, the trip doesn't take very long. You hop into the elevator, and about a minute later or so, the doors softly chime open, and sliding open, you sort of step into this large sort of foyer. It's kind of, just taking a look at it, it kind of seems like kind of like a centralized meeting place, a little like kind of like a pit stop. You can see some sort of like lines of stalls and such that probably would be a food court or something similar. Lots of seating options and stuff like that. One of the walls, again, that's faces the outside is exposed to air. You're getting a lot of sunlight and wind from that area because it faces the sunward side of Versailles. This area seems a little more finished as well. There's evidence of like work done for decoration. The windows aren't just holes in the wall, they're actual windows, though they're missing their glass. Fake wood on banisters and stuff like that. There's a small set of stairs that goes into this open sort of like food court / meeting area. And as you step in, all three of you notice immediately a rather loud collection of voices. And the way this is situated, the exits to the elevators are kind of sequestered to the side of this room, so you can't see the rest of the room. You can only sort of see what you're looking at here. But you hear a gaggle of voices, speaking fairly loud, not trying to be hiding or anything like that. And it sounds like a pretty sizable group of people.
Any definable language or things they're saying?
They seem to be speaking common.
Okay.
Would you like to try to listen in?
Sure.
Okay. So as you sort of like close your eyes and focus, you can tell that it's a fair distance away. And between the one wall missing material, it's kind of hard to hear. But I'd like you to roll perception for me, please.
Oh, it didn't work.
So what you can do, have you used Roll20 before?
I have not, but let me pull up my sheet. I know I can roll off of it.
Yes. And you can double click your sheet like on your name and it will minimize it and make it like translucent. And so you can keep it open without closing it. And
I see it. Okay. Thank you.
23. Okay, 23. It sounds like orders. And as you can sort of hear it, you can hear like just sort of like, different orders being barked off. There seems to be one voice carrying over the others, a male gruff voice, and as you listen in, you can hear him say, "Squad B, when you found something, you call me. Not when you found nothing. Not when you said, I've checked the 50th floor and I found nothing. I don't want to hear it." And then he turns and he sort of speaks lower towards somebody else. So there seems to be a lot of activity, but whatever it is, it seems to be somewhat coordinated by this louder voice that's interwoven with sort of other voices.
Who has the device? I assume the goblin did.
I think Nusix picked it up. Wait, who picked it
Nusix
up?
picked it up.
Okay. Nusix has the device. It
I
is
don't
still
think he's handed it to him.
I probably
No.
would have given it to the goblin.
okay. Well then, you
Was
have the device
goblin's
then.
name MW?
No,
Yes.
the goblin. Oh, MW.
No,
okay.
the goblin's Raquel.
Raquel.
Oh.
Okay.
If
You
you
could
look
change
on
your name
Discord,
in
you can
Roll
see it.
20.
How do you do that?
Yes, I did. Oh,
On the if you hit the little gear icon, just go to my
Yeah.
settings, my name, display name. So
okay. Got it.
Like that.
okay, I'm gonna make the perception check just to see if I can hear them. You have to explain it to me.
Yeah. So you don't hear as quite as clearly the orders, but you do sort of get this sort of sense of like gruff, I am ordering people around kind of vibe. It's not terribly
Mhm.
hard to hear.
Okay.
You are around a corner effectively. Just like behind a little barrier. What would you folks like to do?
I'm going to tell them to hang back a second. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to use stealth to kind of creep forward.
Hearing word, go ahead and give me a stealth check, please. And this entire area counts as dim light. I know you're probably pretty excited about that. The entire area counts as dim
yes.
light because there's no overhead lighting. It's just sort of this half light from the setting sun. That is not a very good roll for you.
That's awful.
It's okay. It's okay. No one is explicitly looking for you, which you're thankful for as you step forward and you step on what appears to be a shard of glass and it cracks underneath foot. And you wince, look around. Whew. Nothing's there. Checking around the corner, you can see a gaggle of people around, gosh, initial head count puts it at around 15 or so, 15 to 20-ish people. They're all bustling around. They're all in uniform. Pretty decently armed, most of them carrying rifles or pistols of some sort, all in matching armor. Kind of a light-looking affair, with this sort of recurring motif, this blue stripe that goes down their right arm, and this sort of like triangular-ish symbol that you can see over their heart. And every single person in the room has this sort of like armor and this motif on them. They're bustling around, they're moving crates, they're moving lights, some of them are checking weapons over, some of them are talking on the radio, and at the center of it all, sort of ordering people around in a little bit more ornate armor, helmet off, because most people are wearing helmets like faceless mooks. Helmet off is this gruff looking dude. He looks like he's maybe 40, like high 40s, maybe like 50 or so. Shaved, pretty much clean shaven, except for like a few strips of hair on his head. It's a real weird look. Angrily chewing on an unlit cigar as he points around at people. He has this sort of swagger, and his armor's a little bit fancier than everyone else's, though it still bears the same motif. And holstered at his side are a pistol and a small little sword. He's just sort of pointing people around. This is the guy who you can tell is giving all this sort of big, flustering orders to people. And you can see him now. He seems agitated, a little bit upset. And you're not sure why, of course, but that is what you see. Behind them is a large sliding door, kind of this glass polymer sliding door that leads onto this rickety-looking bridge. And you can see that of the people in this room, a few of them seem to be preparing ropes and other climbing gear to attempt to cross this bridge.
Okay. I mean, does this look like a group? I don't think this is a group that we could take, right?
I mean, you want to give a professional size them up check? Why don't you give me sense motive?
All right.
Sense motive.
Let's see here. Not trained. Here we go.
Hey, 14. All right, look. You've been around the block a bit, you know? You've had your fair share of scraps. And you usually know when the person shooting at you is hired gun, like is a hired gun with some training, or a hired gun with a gun. In this
Right.
case, you feel pretty confident that these folks have an amount of training. They don't look like hardened shock troopers. They don't carry themselves like shock troopers. Some of them seem kind of jumpy, you know? Some of them seem like they're just sort of sitting there with nothing to do, thumbs up their asses, not really like contributing, right? But they're all well trained and equipped enough that their armor doesn't look squeaky. The dude standing giving orders, he definitely looks like the biggest problem of the lot, but he doesn't look outlandish. I think the one problem you'd have taking a look at it is just how many there are.
Right. You said it was about how many? Like 16 or something?
Yeah,
Or
16 or
15?
so.
16, yeah.
15, 16, yeah. All sort of bustling around in this.
All right, just gonna sneak back to the group,
Okay,
to the
sort
two
of.
others, and report.
Yeah,
in.
you're only like 20 feet away, so you just turn back around, avoid the little shard of glass, and you're back.
It's group 16 looks like mercs. Somewhat trained. Not sure what they're doing. Looks like they're prepping to cross the bridge. Sounds like they're looking for the same thing we are.
Looks like we're not getting across quietly, at least here.
Anything notable about them?
They're packing heat. They're ready for a fight.
Right.
Some look a little greener than others, but there's one guy looks like leading them. He looks like he knows his way around a scrap or two.
You said this other skyscraper is, you said like 240 feet away from this one?
Yeah, 240, maybe 300 feet away. A pretty fair distance away. Without a rangefinder, I chafe at giving you exact numbers.
I mean, I can take about half of them.
I could take about half of them in a fight, right?
Yeah.
It is in a fight.
Yeah. So that's it. I mean,
So he's a safecracker. What are you supposed to be?
I'm the runner. You get in quietly, I get in and out quickly.
I can also take them on if we
How
need
the,
to.
what is that supposed to mean?
We'll find out. I think more the question is, do you want to go headlong or down and around? Because it doesn't sound like there's any other option here.
Look,
Oh, if we
we're
go
going to
down
either
and
fight him
around.
here, we're going to either fight him now or fight him later. I'd rather fight him now and get it over with.
We could also wait for some of them to start going across, and while they are half or
I was
distracted,
thinking the same thing.
it could be as easy as cutting a line.
How ready do they look like they were going to be there? Like you said they were.
I'd say that they're gonna be wrapping up. With what you saw, I'd say they'd be wrapping up within the hour to get ready to move across. There's a sense of urgency in that it looks like the leader's gonna kick their ass if they take too long, but it's not like they're racing the clock or anything. They don't seem to be super rushing. So maybe within the hour.
We could also simply, yeah, it's going to be faster if we go down and across. Way faster. At least it will be
Is
for me.
43 stories?
is there like cover and stuff? Like, is it just one big
Yeah.
open area? Or?
Yeah, like I said, so this sort of like eating area, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of shit everywhere, right? Like there's chairs and tables, and a lot of them have been moved to the side or like sort of pushed by these folks who are organizing their gear. But I mean, if you've ever been like in a mall food court, I assume you have. Like it's that kind of area, but a little bit bigger, and a little bit nicer looking. I will say that the dining area is down like a few steps. It's like depressed into the ground. And that there's like sort of planters and like trash cans lining up around the sort of depression that the dining area is in.
I don't suppose that either of you brought explosives with you, did you?
No. Not
Something
my
that could take a group out?
forte.
Be so much easier if we could just mass blow them up.
And detonate the structure we're on.
Well, we can always go around.
All right, she's
as
gonna
you
go
said.
back and observe them for like the next 20 minutes and see how they come along. Like,
Sure.
if a few of them can get across, all the better.
Sure.
You know,
While New Six does that, what do you two folks want to do?
everybody.
Okay, have fun.
I will. We're on the 43rd floor.
Yes. Well, no. Now you're like 3 or 4, 5 floors up.
Okay.
I'll say 48.
Okay.
Why not?
We're on 48.
Yes,
And-
you are on floor 40. It is not super important, as you can tell.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, just the 43rd floor of the other building is where we know we need to go.
No.
Oh.
You were on floor 43. I might have misspoken. You were on floor 43 when you started. The bridge to go across was a few floors above you, and that's kind of
48.
where. Yes.
Okay.
It was
Yes, you
kind of
misspoke
where
earlier.
the.
My misunderstanding.
Well then I did.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I
I
misspoke.
wrote it down when she was speaking.
Then it was my bad. I got my wires crossed.
How dare you?
I know.
Bad information. Job is shot. All right, we're going home.
Pack it up.
I want. Looking at this truck, can I make, from what she did tell me of the bridge and everything, if we were to go down and across, and climb, can I make just knowing how fast I am, can I make a rough guesstimate of how long I think that would take?
Sure. You don't need to roll anything. If you have profession, you can roll it, and I'll give you like a very okay. You don't need to roll anything. I mean, it's a few flights of stairs down. It's maybe 10, 15 flights down, and then you cross. Maybe 15 minutes to get across and into the other building, and then another 10 to get back up to the level that you're supposed to be on. It doesn't seem like it'd be very difficult.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why.
The one thing that could potentially be difficult is just with how shoddy everything is. You don't know what the state of the other building is like. That's it.
True. Did I ever get a glimpse or sight or from imagery of the other bridge relative from here? Would I be able to tell, like, would they see us if we took the other bridge across easily?
The bridge is covered. It's supposed to be an enclosed structure. The one that you're looking at, or the one that's on your level, is unfinished, and that's why it's open to air and kind of rickety.
Okay.
The one below you was a little more finished, honestly. You haven't been on it, but it had a covering. So if your question is, will they see you? Probably not.
What level was it?
It
What
was.
level was the lower one?
Let's say it was. Yeah, it was like 20 something.
Why are they taking this instead of the other bridge?
Maybe they just haven't thought to ask. I don't know. Sooner.
Well,
You
no,
want to
I'm saying
ask
this-
them?
I'm taking this. I'm saying this in character.
Okay. I was like, why are you asking me that?
Maybe there's
Alright,
something
yeah.
there
Ask
they didn't
'em.
want to face. Or maybe there's a problem there that they do know about.
These people are competition, and
Yes.
they have to be dealt with now.
So while this conversation's going on, New Six, you're looking at them. They definitely seem to be wrapping up. Not wrapping up, but like they definitely seem to be moving towards the bridge. You definitely see that the net movement is over to the bridge. While you're looking at them, honestly, you looking at them, you think you could make it around them unseen, just with how not focused they are. There isn't anyone on watch. It's like they're not really expecting anyone to come across where they are.
So we can just bypass them and get to our.
If you're
Okay.
quiet. There are quite a few people there, so you need to be pretty good at not drawing attention to yourself. You would kind of want to avoid the side with all the light, instinctually. So looking at that side, yeah, there's definitely cover you could dash to, and like...
The goblin is pretty... Well, is the goblin noisy? I'm assuming the vessel's pretty quiet.
No, he isn't.
So, I mean, yeah, if y'all want to try to...
You can actually tell from the time you were walking, he's very light-footed.
Okay, so
Okay.
why don't we sneak around them then, if we're sneaky?
Very well.
Okay. So
If we're
the
sneaky,
three-
that means we're probably not very strong. That's where I'm going. So
That would probably be accurate.
Fair enough. Okay, so the three of you sort of gather your wits about you, and peering, you can see the path that New Six has sort of pointed out. And preparing yourselves, you attempt to sneak over. So can I get stealth checks from everyone?
Oh, no.
We're going to do... Let's do 3 total stealth checks from everyone, but I'm going to ask for
God.
them sequentially.
Did mine not register?
Ooh,
It did not.
we're getting some
Oh wait, no, you
some
did
not
sense
so
motive.
great rolls here.
You did sense motive, Mew.
Oh. Well, that would help.
I
I
rolled to
was
sense
like,
their
you're
motive.
quiet with a 6? Okay, you're pretty quiet.
Okay, comparatively. Hold on, I will roll perception. Don't worry. I have their stat sheets here. Be proud of me. I'm gonna hide this. Yes, I'm gonna hide this. Please hide this roll. Submit.
Yes, it is impossible for me to roll a 6.
And
It's actually
then
impossible for me to roll
the captain.
anyone's number. That was a low roll, by the way,
Damn.
folks. You can actually see the character wince, even though he's quieter than you guys.
Hide this roll. Okay.
He
So as you-
can't do your rolls.
So as you three dart to the first set of cover, none of them really notice you, but the captain, he sort of just like hears one of you kick something. He goes, "Hey, one of you hear that?" And everyone sort of stops moving.
Scowls at
He's like,
Stranger.
he's just like looking around, and yeah, you all share dirty looks at each other, blaming each other. And he's just like scowling, looking around, begins chewing a cigar just slightly slower. He's like, "Keep going. I'm gonna take a look around." And he walks off, kind of tangential to you, but getting a little closer. Go ahead and everyone give me another stealth check, please. All right,
Okay, I'm getting
that's
ready
a
to
little
go
bit
home.
better.
Finally.
Hey, all right, okay. All right. Hide this one. That's a
I'm looking
physical
at my
science check,
modifier like, what
not
the
a
heck?
perception
Pretty
check.
stealthy teams. Nice.
Yeah.
What works?
All right, we'll treat that as the other roll.
It's
As
hard
you
to
move
find
on,
it.
you seem to have avoided his attention for the time being. He takes a look around, doesn't seem to be really noticing you, shakes his head. Fine, I'll say it. Must have been the wind. And he just goes back. Seems to be going back, but a little wary still, but goes back to ordering people around. All right, you're at the home stretch here. You've circled around, sort of running alongside the food stalls, and you're pushing sort of toward the bridge. Now, the bridge itself is pretty exposed. So when you get there, it's going to be kind of dicey remaining unseen. There are 2 people currently working at the bridge, one person securing rigging, and another person working on a set of 4 small devices. And before we move, who here has engineering?
Yo.
I guess only Waqual.
Yo.
Okay, go ahead and roll engineering. 21. You didn't need a
Okay,
lot.
I'm going
Welcome
home
to
now.
Trouville. Welcome to
I haven't
Trouville,
broken
man.
10 yet, folks.
It's only 3 rolls.
Look, it's punishment for ever talking shit about Serzel's diplomacy checks.
True.
5, 6, 7, and 2.
Yeah, there you go.
So you didn't need a lot. You succeeded still, right? Because what the person next to the person securing the rigging. So what Mook B, let's call them Mook B for the purposes of my own sanity. What Mook B is working on appears to be a collection of 5 or 6 or so little improvised explosive devices. And looking at them, you can tell that they don't pack a lot of payload, right? Like you're not going to blow these up and sink a ship or knock a
Jeez.
building down. In fact, you can see them have a bunch of shrapnel packed into the front of them. They definitely seem to be for people as opposed to for things. But there's 5 or 6 of them, and the person's working on them. And that's what you see before you move
I
out.
could hack one of them and set them off.
It's
if
a
need be.
bomb. Do you have
No, I wasn't sure if it had a remote control or anything.
No, it's a bomb. I
Okay.
mean, ostensibly or like
Ooh, is it
Not
tied to a
ostensibly.
trigger?
theoretically he would have a
is this the
detonator.
same dudes with the armor that we saw? Same guys?
Yeah, just
Okay.
same guys. Just another mook working on
Okay, now
what appears to
I have
be.
a question since I'm now seeing them for the first time.
Yes.
Is there a little key in the middle of the triangle?
Key
Ooh.
of what triangle?
Of the symbol.
Oh, of their. No, there is not.
Okay.
Theirs kind of looks almost like the Starfleet insignia, but like pointier.
Okay.
You know?
Spikes. Put some spikes
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. The name of their group,
Is
by the way,
this,
if anyone wants to roll culture, is Azure, but no one has culture, so it's just for me.
Culture, just
is
not
the
much.
person
Sure.
isolated, like
I
solitary?
like that word.
What, the person?
One is working on the bomb stuff.
There were two.
Yeah,
wasn't
he's
it?
a little bit. Yeah, so he and the dude who is working on the rigging are like physically isolated from the rest of the group by a good 30 or so feet. Most everyone is working on the pile of crap that's in the center of the room.
What is
The-
Do we see the pile of crap in the middle of the room? What are they doing?
Oh, like I said before, like they're
Prepare
just like, yeah, they're just
stuff.
moving gear around,
Okay.
and
It's not okay.
it's not actual crap. No,
Well, yeah, I didn't
it's
know if
not
they,
like.
we found something. I was like,
Yes,
okay.
it's a
Setting
pile
these
of shit.
charges as like a perimeter.
No, they're not set at all. They're sort of just loosely in front of him, and he's working on wiring each one in turn. You're not sure what he could be using them for, because he's not using them for anything now.
For shrapnel? That's
Probably to blow up the.
strange.
No, not
That's
the
shrapnel.
blow.
Well,
That's the
maybe they could,
anti-personnel.
if they had it sensed up, it might be so they can blow up anyone that follows them.
It's a it's a
I mean, it's
mine.
shrapnel. I don't think it'll take out the bridge, do I?
Oh,
Personnel. It's being specifically modified to be anti.
with an amount of time and effort, it could be hooked up to an object, right? That's just something you know you can do, Wakel. You
Mhm.
know that with an amount of time and effort, you can hook it up to an object. And in general, when you hook up, you take the shrapnel off of it and you work a little bit on it, you'd say maybe 5 minutes. You could probably make a pretty convincing, like, sort of detonation charge that would kind of fuck up some structures. It wouldn't do a lot to the room you're in. I mean, it's pretty well built. But thinking about
Not
it,
the bridge.
yeah. Based on your question, yeah, you think that that could fuck up a pretty rickety bridge if you had like 5 or so minutes to work on it and maybe a little help.
They could be expecting company already. They may be getting third partied, or they're expecting us, or someone.
Maybe they're just as paranoid as PCs are.
Yep.
Why don't you ask them?
Does it look like there's any way to slink around these guys?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in so much as you could, yeah, you could try. Like I said, this entire area is dim light, and dim light does provide enough concealment to roll stealth checks. Moving does make your stealth check worse,
Mhm.
but they haven't been that attentive so far. So, you know,
I say we just
there's always a chance.
keep going with our luck.
Yeah?
Thanks.
Okay.
No, immediate need to engage them.
So, with that in mind, you three attempt to close the last bit of open distance and onto the bridge. Go ahead and give me a stealth check. That's a very good stealth
Oh,
check.
that is
That is
not a good
not a very
roll.
good stealth check.
That's a 3!
That is a 3. In fact, it is a 3. But you may be lucky. Okay. Well, no, you're not lucky.
Okay, I didn't think so.
So, as the three of you start making the final, you wait for a moment, like sort of guards are looking in like sort of away. Their little cones on the mini map are pointed away from you. You all kind of quickly-ish dart the last final distance to this bridge. And as you're there, Azatrana, I'm gonna say you're taking up the rear here.
Okay.
As you're there, you kind of quickly climb over a small planter, trying to cut some distance, and there's a cord on the ground, completely hidden by that planter, and you eat shit, and it is
Oh.
not your best moment. Whack, and it's not very loud. In all fairness, it's kind of just like a tumble. But that definitely draws attention. And as you sort of pick yourself up, you look up, and every eye in the room is looking at you. There's just this beat, this moment. And your two friends behind you at the entrance of the bridge. What do? You have an action, basically. What would you like to do?
Question to understand, how wide is the bridge?
Bridge, I'm gonna say, is about 20 feet wide.
I bolt towards the bridge.
You bolt! You bolt! Okay! You bolt, and in a flurry, everyone is on their feet, drawing weapons, shouting orders. The captain is shouting at people. And you jet out of the doorway, past your friends, All right, folks. This is going to be theater of the mind, but I'm going to need everyone to put their tokens onto the map and roll initiative.
How do I do that?
You
map?
go to your thing and you drag yourself onto
You just mean
the paper.
the verses, right?
Yeah, just this thing.
Where do
Because
I-
you need
Okay.
the token. You need the token to exist in order to send it to the initiative tracker.
I go to my what to drag the token?
So you your
It's
little
gonna be
journal.
weird.
You know your journal where you have your
Oh shoot! Do I not have
Yes,
Your
any?
I have
name,
my journal.
just click and drag like that.
There he is.
Ah,
Oh yeah, neither of you have art. Hold on, let me name you. Nameplate, save.
Sorry, I should have done this.
I thought it
New
would
six
apply
is-
my image. That's weird.
New 6 is well, no, because your token is separate from your image.
Ah,
Is what we're learning here. New 6 is absolutely the best dressed of you three, I have to say. All right,
Damn.
so go ahead, select your
Definitely.
token, click on your token, and then press roll initiative, please.
You need to have your token selected.
Yes.
which one is it?
Unfortunately.
I don't. For
And-
some reason, it's not showing up for me. Well, I see the
I
token.
didn't-
Which one is roll initiative?
Roll
Yeah.
initiative is going to be in it. It's going to be like what page? Like what?
It's on the first page. It's combat
it's on the sh-
tables
it's on the
next to your
sheet.
ability scores. Just everything
Yeah.
that has a D20.
Ah, I thought you meant it
Mhm.
was from the thing. Wait,
No.
that is. What did I roll?
I don't know.
You rolled a 14.
You roll the 14. All right,
You
I'll
added
send
a
you.
+5.
Okay, I will send you to
That's
the initiative
not
tracker
right
then.
because my initiative is +9.
Oh, well then we'll just call it a 23 then. I can add you on 23. Add turn. We're gonna put you at 23.05, right?
It's appropriate for someone that just beat out the other.
You just
Yep.
fucking
I'm out of here.
dipped. Now I don't remember if players can edit their bar values for their token, but if you can always set the bars to be equal to your values, but I'm just doing it for you two right now.
If you hit the radio menu, right, you can subtract.
That's weird.
Yes,
I can't see
so-
the dice roll anymore.
So sooner,
Mhm.
I don't know why Mew has 22 resolve. I'm gonna assume that he
Somebody
has
said
8.
that's wrong. It's 8.
Okay,
I
cool.
assume it's 8.
So, Sooner, something cool that you can do with your token. You see those 3 little orbs with the numbers. I
Yes.
think Serv was about to mention this, but do you know how you can manipulate those?
No.
You can not only enter in a new number, you can just click it and type in an operation like minus this, and it'll auto-calculate for you.
Oh, okay.
I have green to set your stamina, blue to set your HP. It's consistent.
Okay.
We're just going to keep that for the time being. Yeah, red for resolve. Okay.
By the way, what kind of armor do they have? Since I've been able to see them.
They're kind of like bulky-ish light armor. I mean, like they don't look like tanks, walking tanks. They seem to be at best a well-armed security force, but they're well-armed. Good?
That's working.
Okay.
I was
Let me
just
put-
curious about like how heavily armored. Like, are they on the lower scale or closer to mine?
They are probably closer to. They're lower, I'd say. They're not very
Closer
fancy.
to clear weave.
Yeah, closer to Clearweave as opposed to like something fancy like Lashunta Tempwave or something like that,
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, cool. We're just gonna copy this dude. So I have his token with me.
15 times.
Yeah, there we are. All right, cool. And then I'm gonna roll some initiatives.
Wonder why it's a decimal. That's weird.
Bop. Okay. Oh, I forgot to change their name to Azure because I decided to change the color scheme because of the art.
So how
roll and-
fast did you run?
Very.
That's a great question. Let's sort this descending. Okay, and let me change the playlist. And then we're going to go ahead and start with Azatrana. Fittingly, it's a straight shot 300 feet across, and it's a rickety bridge, but you dip right out the front door, headed for the other side. What are you doing? You're sort of at the entrance to this 300-foot-long straight shot across. You're by 2 people who kind of are caught with their pants down. They're not expecting you to appear all of a sudden. Big 7-foot Vesk lady.
Close are
So,
they to us?
what's up?
How close are they to us?
They're about 10 feet away from you. Like you were kind of skirting past them. The bridge is around 20 feet wide, and they were on one side working. So you're skirting around the other end. So you're about 10 feet away from them.
Does this bridge look precarious enough that if I... Does it look like I can just run across it without issue, or does it look like there's going to be some balancing?
Well, if you want to stop and assess structural stability, that is an engineering check.
I don't have that.
Okay.
I'm going to...
We know it's a shitty bridge because they're trying to build a rope across.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to... You know what? How far away is the guy arming the explosives from the edge?
10 feet away from us.
He's about 10 feet. Yeah, like I said, 10 feet.
From the edge. From the edge.
From the
Oh,
edge?
from the edge?
Yeah.
He's around a corner, so I'd say he's about 10 feet away from the edge if you yanked him around the corner and kicked him off the bridge.
I'm not trying to
He's
do that.
definitely... Yeah, you're going to reposition him?
Yeah.
Okay. So you run up to this dude, and he's the dude working on the explosives?
Yep.
Alright, he was on his knees, so you know what? I'll say he counts as prone, because he's not on his feet right now.
Okay.
You grab him, you run over, you grab him with your hands, and you just yank him off. Go for it.
Let's see. Let me pull up my sheet back up here.
By the way, we can... I don't know if you have any improvements to your combat maneuvers,
I do not.
but if you do, I can sort of use the same home rule that Serve does, if you'd like.
Your call. Entirely. I don't believe I do...
Okay, so then, just, yeah, let's call it...
Yeah, I don't.
Let's use the same home rule then, just because I also like combat maneuvers and I really like it, so I'm going to shamelessly steal it.
It's a good
Yoink!
rule.
It's a good rule. 28! Boy, howdy! Well, you definitely succeed. Let me see how much you succeed, because you need a second degree of success.
Yeah, I'd have to
But I
beat it
think
by
you...
5, I think.
Oh, his KAC is 14. Boy, howdy. Yeah, you grab this dude, and you throw him off. And he gives a little, like the Wilhelm scream as he fucking flies off the edge. The five sort of, you can see 5 shape charges below you. The 5 shape charges now abandoned, and the person next to him who was working on the rig, he was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And he's like fumbling for his gun.
I give the guy falling a salute, and I turn and look at the other guy and just say, "Run."
Ooh, roll intimidation.
Oh god, that's gonna go great.
It comes out breathlessly and like almost like a question, like run, and he's like, what? He's just more confused than anything. All right, so Wakel, you see Azatrana leap forward, grabbing this dude, throwing him up, yanking him around the corner, throwing him off the bridge. The bridge is open to you. You're home free to try to go across. The sliding
The other
doors.
people.
What's up?
How far are the people behind us that we just passed by?
Like a good 40, 50 feet maybe. And
Okay.
I'll say this, as you look across the bridge, you can see that the sliding doors are closed on the other side, but on this side are open.
Is there a way I can close the doors on this side, do I think?
You could. There's a set of controls both inside and outside. And they appear to have some sort of security to them. So yes, but Azatrana and Nusix are both inside the doors currently. You'd have to hop onto the bridge to close it from the outside.
Wouldn't I be hopping onto the bridge? They're already on the bridge. I'd be hopping
Yeah.
onto the bridge and then closing it from the inside.
Sorry. Okay, so you are currently not on the bridge yet. No one is on the bridge yet because just as you were going to get on the bridge, Azatrana was found.
I meant like the...
So you are standing right there. You could step onto the bridge. It would take you no movement at all. And if you do, you'll be on the bridge and there will be an access panel that you can close the doors from the outside on.
6 is still behind me. Or is
Yes,
Nusix
Nusix and Azatrana are both still behind you. They're still, or Nusix is more abreast of you, but long story short, if you step onto the bridge, you'll be alone.
If you try to cross the bridge.
If you try to cross the bridge. Or if you go and you close the door, you will be alone, and they will be alone to face
Azatron is like
All all
Okay,
15
I'm
now.
sorry. I was picturing that Azatrana was already on the bridge. And
No,
that's
no,
when
no,
she
no, no.
threw the person off.
She was no. She
door.
is right at the door, and she just pulled this person away from what they were doing and shoved them out the door, basically at an angle, and threw them off of everything.
Okay.
You hear a splat 6 seconds later. Yikes.
Damn.
No,
From like
It does
500
actually
feet in the
Real
air.
stealthily, I'm going to go onto the bridge.
oh, I mean, stealth is
not-
kind of a sure, yes.
I'm not going to close the door yet. I'm going to hack into it so
And
that
hold
it
your
will
action?
close when they do it. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
By the way,
Um,
I can do it ranged,
You have remote?
just as a note.
Yes,
I
you
can
do
do
have
range.
remote hack. That is
Yep.
totally fine. So you step
I'll
out
be
onto the
20
bridge.
feet in.
So you're gonna move your regular movement speed onto the bridge.
No, I'm going to still stay stealthy.
So half move.
Mhm.
Okay. As a consequence, you keep your footing to the point where you don't need to attempt any checks or anything as you sort of stealthily pad out onto the bridge. Go ahead and give me a computer's check to hack this little thing, and it's going to take a number of rounds equal to the computer's tier. So, just as a note.
For a door
May not
control,
be able
maybe
to.
not too high.
No, I can see.
Who knows? I know. I'm lying to you. 24 is acceptable. It is incidentally no. It isn't a very complex computer, and you gain access to it pretty much at the end of your turn. You get that all squared away. I will say that with the amount that you exceeded by the DC, yeah, you'll be able to manipulate it on your turn. So instead, you can hold your action. It'll just change what your initiative is, as it usually does. Okay. Yes. After that, the captain springs into action much faster than his men, sort of barking orders and indicating towards people, and he yanks out a pistol sort of mid-stride. And this is a nasty-looking thing. It has like sort of this bulky-looking construction with some wires, and it, for someone who looks kind of like put together, it's almost a little out of place. Like it's kind of like the slipshod construction, and it's sort of like squat, short barrel that opens into this large aperture, and the edge of the aperture is painted yellow with black hazard striping across it. And he sort of pulls and he aims at Azatrana, rolling first a check, which is, yes, he's rolling, what is it?
Oh, is he trying to flat foot me?
Yes, he is.
Oh.
Quickly moving from one hand to the next, he attempts to roll a check. I will not hide this roll. I believe you are flat-footed then
I assume
against
so.
this. Okay, cool. So it kind of catches you off guard how he bounces off. He sort of like bounces off one of his troopers' legs, who like stumbles a little bit, and onto a table, leaping over, riding a chair down, and shoots you. And this sort of like sickly green ball of energy fires out at you. This is a rad shot, so let's see if this hits you.
So
I will not hide this roll.
that's EAC is 26
yes.
or higher. Flat foot.
Any other modifiers? We'll say that there's no modifiers because that's how that works. So it's a 24 to EAC basically.
Misses.
Misses?
EAC
Despite his best
28, not
efforts.
flat-footed.
Woo! Wait, 28 when you are flat-footed?
When I am not.
Okay. What did he roll out of your an 8? Okay,
Yeah.
so he could hit you. It's theoretical. All right. So you still managed to keep your wits about you. Whew. Dodging just out of the way as that sickly green energy scatters across, and you feel it. Like you feel the energy as it passes you. It's kind of warm, but also in this just sort of vile feeling way as it scatters across the wall to your side and leaves this long black scorch mark. And as it does, he points to you like, "Don't let them get away!" Next in line, we've got New 6. The shot fires out. You seem to have been ignored for the time being. What would you like to do?
There's two people by the now there's only one that's left, like in immediate
Yes.
proximity.
He still has like the rigging in his hands. Like he's still like processing. Like he's kind of scrambling for his rifle because Azatrana just walked up to the person in front of him, and threw him off the fucking building. But yeah,
Grabbing a
there's
rifle.
one dude. Mhm.
How far is he from the edge of the
I think he's about the same distance, honestly. Like I kind of picture it. I kind of picture it like they were kind of working pretty close to each other, next to each other. You gonna try to do the same thing?
No, I want to try to kick him off. Give him a
Ah.
side kick to the chest.
Bull rush?
Yeah, that'd be a bull rush for sure. Go ahead and roll to bull rush this man, and I will see what you get.
Oh! Is that a nat 20 when
Tumbles.
it's green?
He just tumbles forward,
Yup.
jumps up in the air, and gives him a solid kick to the chest.
Yeehaw!
Perfect form,
It is.
like fighting pose.
It is something straight out of Mortal Kombat as New Six slams her foot into this dude's chest. He stumbles backwards. He's reaching for his rifle, and unfortunately, that's his downfall because he just hands get mixed up and he can't grab the line, and he tumbles off and over the bridge and joins his dear friend. Goodbye, farewell, so long.
Oh my god. I was not
So
expecting
expected.
that.
I would say that is movement and attack. Anything else for you? Do you have
Yeah. Oh, wait, no. She's also after she kicks him in the air like that, she lands flat and goes prone instantly.
Okay, cool. Right, then, the dudes finally get their wits about them, most of them throwing aside what they're doing, drawing their rifles, charging forward, and as kind of like uninvolved and like lazy or like out of it they were looking, it dissolves in an instant as they snap form ranks, well drilled, well marshaled, and they all level their rifles at you and they unleash a salvo, all focused on the only person, or on the closest person who just drew their dude off the wall, Azatrana. A bunch of shots ring out at you.
Go for it.
Pew, pew. Are they using rifles or pistols?
They're rifles. These are all what appear to be pretty decent laser rifles.
Short
They-
range.
Let's see. You are not flat-footed and there are no modifiers. Go for shooting.
Not even close.
How? Well, hold on. They rolled a 13, 28. Their number is 28.
Oh, if it's a 28 to hit, then is it EAC or KAC?
It's EAC. They're using
Just hits.
just hits. Okay. I don't know why. I must have typed in the attack mod wrong because it's not. Huh.
Jesus Christ,
That's really
plus
weird.
15.
Well, in this case, it's why is it not adding? Oh, there it is. Now it's adding. Well, anyway, in this case, it's not one shot in so much as like you get pinged by one. But yeah, of the shots, some of them are wide. You know, some of them are a little eager, and they don't shoot well. But the majority of the shots sort of pepper into you, pop, 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 ricocheting across your your chest. And while individual ones don't hurt too much, the sort of sum total effect definitely leaves a mark on you and take 15 points of fire damage.
Okay.
Okay.
Squad rules.
Yeah, they're a squad. They're troops. All right, cool. Azatrana, it is back to being your turn.
Cool.
By the way, 1 second before I go too much further. Sorry, Wakal. Hacking is a full action, so you couldn't have held an action to begin with. And it's a good thing too because all of your teammates, like one of your teammates, is above you on the initiative track anyway, so you would have not fired for the entire round. So, at any rate, you couldn't have held your action, but you did the hack. It's all good. We'll
Okay.
just call it square.
That's fine.
Azatrana, you just got shot by a bunch of little shitty flashlights. What would you like to do?
I will run adjacent to a wall, draw my plasma rifle, and return fire, saying, "Get that door closed."
Okay. You shoot your shot. You shoot your shot. Go. It fucking hits.
Oh!
They're immune to crits, I believe. Unless you're... Is it a line? Wait, is your thing a line?
It is not. It's an advanced plasma bolter, so the crit effect is wound.
Yes. You fuck one dude up super hard. But unfortunately, they're immune to crits.
Okay.
Um,
Are they immune to crit damage?
Yes. Let me double check the troop immunities.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Never mind. Oh, I thought for some reason.
I don't know if it
in
was
a
just they were
trooper.
immune to crit effects.
They are... Well, no. It says they're immune to combat maneuvers, flanking, and dying. But they
Yeah.
don't seem to be immune from crits. So
No.
yeah.
They're not. Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Warhammer, the 40k style effect.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will roll crit. It did not roll. How do I roll damage?
Like a squad, right?
Yes, this is a squad. It is a troop. This is a troop, and I'm using the troop rules. But apparently, troops aren't necessarily immune from crits. They just take half damage from single targets. You know?
So it'd be the equivalent of normal damage here.
Yes. So your normal damage is no. Roll your double damage because
Have it. Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be slightly different.
I do not know how to roll in this, so I will just use.
It is slash roll.
Oh, it's slash roll. Okay.
Yeah, slash roll 48 plus 16.
Plus 16.
And I can see what you mean
6.
by you messed up your macros. So 16 points of damage for sure. Yeah, one dude gets blasted in the chest, just and it tears through armor, leaving this huge gaping hole as he and thuds. And there's like a few cries of consternation, but they form up ranks again, and they make a unified wall, sort of stepping over his corpse.
And I'm trying to, in my position, I'm trying to provide cover for Wall.
Okay. Oh, you're standing like soft cover? Yeah, sure.
Yes, trying to provide soft cover.
You are big. He is small. That works. All right. You moved on to your normal distance for the bridge. Let me roll something. Okay. Okay, you're fine for now. Well, Cal, what would you like to do? Your friend, one of your friends is now on the bridge.
Okay. And that's the one that's also providing cover for me, sort of?
Yeah. She's not like big, but she's big, you know?
Okay.
She's big compared to you.
So in this
compared to
case,
you.
I scurry onto the bridge behind her, and I guess I still have a regular action left?
Yeah. Well, no, you're on the bridge, if you recall correctly, because I said let's call it a wash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't hear the bombs. And we have a whole bunch of things. I'm still waiting for the other one to cross the bridge, but I am going to go and open... Where's the big guy? Is he within line of... How far away is he from me?
Yeah, like, he's,
40
do you think theater of the mind? Yeah, he's like 40 feet. Yeah, he definitely moved forward when he was doing his trick attack, because they can do that, because operatives
Once I'm
are...
behind, as I'm going to open fire.
Go for it. On the big dude? Go for
On
it.
the big dude. Let's see if this works. Oh, shoot. I don't have my movement, though, so I have to remember that. Dang it.
I'll say it'll take a move action to close the door behind you.
Oh.
Alright, 22 to hit. Yeah, that'll
28 damage.
that'll hit him.
Auto
28
weapon?
points of damage. What's up?
I could have done it auto. I didn't do it auto.
You'll do
Oh.
that. You'll do extra damage if you go auto on it.
Oh yeah, get into that first range increment.
That uses up the entire battery, right?
Yes.
But it would absolutely decimate these.
Yeah. You know what? I'll just do that. Fine. I'm only planning on shooting once before we close the door anyway. I do full auto on the whole entire thing.
Okay, what's your range increment?
60.
Yeah, that'll absolutely cover the troop up. Go ahead and it's a -4. So go ahead and re-roll your attack, if you would. Unless you just, what did you roll? An 8. So it would be an 18 to hit EAC.
That's about it, yeah.
Yeah, that
me
absolutely
to-
hits.
Okay.
No, we can just use the same roll and the same damage
Okay.
if you'd like. It's fine.
Sure.
It's all public and shit. Yeah, so you step forward. Just oh, you don't step forward. No, you're just standing where you are. And it's a good thing New 6 dropped prone. Standing where you are, you just hold down the trigger and you spray them down. They're like sort of well-disciplined ranks, sort of like faltering in a bit in the hail of fire. And the captain takes the full brunt of it too, like grunting as it slams into his chest. You see another like 4 or so of them kind of fall where they lie. All right. Let's see. This man needs to lose some health. Okay, cool. That's your turn. That's a full action. So
Okay.
next is the big man with a plan. You
Are now the target. Yes.
are now the target. But, you know, your big friend is still providing you some cover. I'm going to say that for added effect, you absolutely did this through Ozatrana's legs. Because that's
Hey.
very amusing to me.
Top cover at least for sure.
It's soft cover, for sure. Alright, so, stepping
Watch the
forward, trying to
tail.
get a good angle, doesn't really see it, but ducks underneath some of the shots, takes one to the side, and then flips like, kind of like this sort of like sideways flip and twist and like landing down, and he shoots again the rad shot, trying to almost like wanted the bullet, you know, curve the bullet and try to hit you behind Azatrana. Let's see if you get flat-footed by this man. And this does mean again that you're not holding the action to close the door, right?
No, I know.
Okay, just checking. 27. You are level 8, so that fails. You see through his little ruse. Yeah, a 4 is not going to cut it. It's 20 plus the CR, and he's not a high enough CR to have what is it? The thing where you just take 10.
Yeah.
Dang.
So yeah, actually, you see right through all his fancy footwork, and keeping an eye on the shot, you manage to not be sort of taken aback by it. He does still get to shoot his shot, but he does not get the extra damage if he hits. Submitting the roll.
I've seen Swarm that do better than that.
You call that out. Does a 29 to your EAC hit?
That will hit.
All right. And the sickly
The cover.
green ball of
Barely,
energy.
but it will
It'll
hit.
hit
With the cover? With the
Oh
cover?
wait, what does the cover give? Plus 2 or
Plus 4.
No, it misses.
Yeah. All right. So
You
you're
see, it misses.
Win.
and you duck behind Azatrana's legs again, and it skitters through her legs again. You're getting a lot of action there, lady.
Damn.
And it scatters across, and it actually blasts away some of the plank, the sort of planking and flooring on this rickety ass bridge. And as he sort of lands and staggers and sees that his shot did jack all, he swears again. And Nusix, he's now about 10-ish feet away from you. He's pretty close, and he like sort of notices, he's like, ugh. It's your turn.
Oh, right. Okay, seeing there's a hail of ice bullets just streaming overhead.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like lasers one way and then ice bullets the next.
I'm going to spring up from her prone position as a swift action. Just going to
Hell yeah.
real quick, flat, ready to fight, and plants her feet, and is going to charge the big guy.
Hell yeah. Whew. Jumping a little bit, you charge at the big guy. Go ahead and roll
Charge
your
with
attack.
a flying kick that reverses into a
Ooh.
fist and a little faint move.
Okay. A 24 to hit absolutely hits. 23 points of damage. Let me go do math. Math is hard. Especially when my computer's taking a long time to do anything. I'm like this close to just using the calculator for this dude since Roll20 is taking forever.
She's obviously positioning herself on the opposite side of the captain to get soft cover from him.
Oh yeah. And soft cover from the massive dudes with guns.
Massive dudes.
Yeah. And with that hit, you can actually see like the captain and cough up some blood on kind of onto your foot, but you manage to dodge most of it, and it splatters across the floor.
He's human,
Yeah, he's human.
and we're in dim light.
Yes.
Fantastic. And he might not even really see her.
Yeah, he's having a hard time keeping. Like he walked right up to you and sort of looked down and was like, "Whoa, what? Like, where did you come from?" And then you're back up, and now you're slamming into him, and he's just not having a good time of it. All right, and the troops. That's a good point. Hang on, let me check something. Yeah, they're gonna continue firing at Azatrana. You just happen to be sort of in their way. It's still a single attack, though. I'm flavoring it as if like they're
Sure.
firing a salvo, but you know
Is
what
their
I
attack
mean.
lower because I killed one? And
No.
you killed 4? Okay.
No,
Hit
no.
points.
You killed
Less
the
projectiles.
you killed the ones that were bad at aiming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You save.
Survival of the fittest.
Oh,
Probably-
that is a 4. That is definitely not gonna hit.
Nope.
Despite that, the shots still go wide. You know, like blood is up. You definitely are, like, kind of like in the flow of combat now, and you manage to dodge all the shots that come at you, and the rest of them scatter and go wide. So your turn again, Azatrana. You're here on the bridge. You're about 20, 30-ish feet out. 20 feet out, actually, if you were going to be adjacent to Wakal. Look at that. If you're 20 feet out, what would you like to do?
New Six is still not on the bridge, and is instead still.
Yeah. New Six is currently introducing herself to the captain.
Damn. You're being real slow, and he's gonna just fire again. Or she's gonna fire again.
He's gonna fire.
Where?
Another
what
crit.
are you shooting at?
the
Holy
Fire
moly!
Why do you want to retreat exactly?
we get across the bridge.
You're fucking them up, apparently. So you know, there you go.
Just
for left.
not retreat, advance.
They're about half. They're about half strength. So they've lost about 8 or so folks.
That's a lot of 8s.
Yeah. Woo. Okay. Well, they all take 20 points of damage, and another the blast sort of slams into one dude, vaporizing him. And as his rifle drops to the ground, it discharges, putting a bullet through another dude's skull, and they both fall over dead.
She just looks over and is like, okay, that was impressive.
Yeah, I'm leaving the sergeant for last so they don't fail morale, but you know.
Nice shot.
My troop! My troop! Alright, Wakel, what would you like to do?
Load weapon. Reload.
Yes.
New battery.
Hell yeah!
You know what? Except my teammate is now in the range of fire. She's now in the range.
Automatic shots are full action. So, it's a
Yeah.
moot point.
Okay. That's the case. Okay.
It
We're just
worked out
going
perfect.
to-
You'll get your chance, trust me. After my turn.
I'm just going to use a
Delay,
regular shot this
then you
time.
can delay, wait for my turn.
That's true. You have plenty of options.
You're not going to do full auto now, you're reloading. So
Oh yeah. Alright, so you're gonna take a shot? What are you shooting at? Oh my god, please.
holy crap.
Just a
Oh,
regular
going.
shot.
What is going on? Who are you shooting at?
That was the big guy.
That was big guy?
Oh, but-
Big guy, no! So as you slam your foot into do you have a description for me? Give me a description. All right.
Of what?
So a little
you're
fluff,
shooting.
right? A little fluff, right? Nusik sprang to her feet and leapt forward, slamming into to the captain, who staggered back, coughing up a little blood. They're about 5 feet apart. He's sort of sizing her up. He's like slowly reaching for a club. All focus is trying to keep track of her shadowy form in this dim light. Describe to me how you end this motherfucker.
Now, as Trana will hear this and know, hasta la vista, butthole.
Excellent. That's so loud. All right, cool. And as the blast of cold energy fires forward, this sort of like solid mass of whitish frosted energy shooting through again. I'm
Actually,
so
that
sorry,
is in
Azatrana.
Vesk. That
Oh,
is in
yeah.
Vesk. That's what
Oh,
Lucas
yeah.
pointed.
Heading once again through Azatrana's legs, this goblin, using you as a sniper perch, fires forward and skirts kind of like right by your hip, New Six, and sort of this upward angle because he's a little like lower. It just slams directly into his chest, right where your foot had. And the combination of this cold and the barrage that you've given this captain and the shot he took earlier, you hear this sickening crunch as the entire front of his chest seems to cave in, and there's like this sort of like frost and rime mixing with the blood that is flash frozen at the point of impact, and he sort of looks a little bit, and the blood that comes out is almost like slushy as he slams down into the ground dead. And as he does, the troops behind him, fuck it, they're like, Captain Andy!
Where you run?
It's just
Captain
like,
Andy.
oh shit! Yeah, the Captain Andy, and you motherfuckers! And they seem like they're gonna fight to the last. New Six, the man in front of you is so dead. And there's like 4 or 5 dudes still in proper fighting condition in front of you. You
Okay.
know.
Puts her hair back, cracks her neck, sizes them up. puts her fist straight down and charges into the group. She will. This is interesting. She's going to perform a springing on. Essentially, it's a spring attack with. I can target 2 people with it.
Okay.
And I don't provoke from my targets, but I'm not sure how that works here. It's fine if you want to do attacks of opportunity, but they probably can't because they have rifles.
Yes, they have rifles.
Charges into the fray, knees, fists, feet in a flurry as she strikes out at twice at this group.
Hell yeah, go for it.
4. Yeah, that's
First
pretty
one
good damage.
hits. First one absolutely hits.
Okay.
Yeah, and across the series of a few strikes, you manage to trip up the last few of them, ending 2 of them immediately, and you see your opportunity as you just wipe out the rest of the squad in hand-to-hand combat. And Azatrana and Wakel are treated to quite the sight as Nusix just 1v6s for a moment and just wipes out the rest of the squad, all falling down to the ground. And as the last person sort of slams into the ground, you can hear over the radio someone urgently like yelling and screaming before it gets cut out.
So is there still
And that
a
is the-
squad, or that's all the squads?
That was the people in front of you. Sorry, somebody said something else?
Right. So this is a small portion of that other group we saw.
This was everyone you saw.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they're all dead. Okay.
Yes, everyone in this room is dead.
Are they
except
calling
for you.
out? Are they,
Oh no, you heard on the person's whose
Radio.
like shit you just shoved in, on their radio somebody was calling for help.
Oh, whoops. She'll take the comlink.
Okay. You take the comm link. It is in your
Have I
possession.
got 2 now?
Yeah, actually, if y'all
Oh,
would like
ho,
to
ho.
take, if y'all would like to take a moment to loot, you absolutely may.
I want batteries. And-
Sure.
Well, if we have money, that's great too, but I doubt they paid them ahead of time.
We'll size up those rifles, see if there's anything good.
They're decent rifles. They are because the rules for troops are weird. You get one the second level laser rifle. What is it called? Hold on, let me look
Azimuth
up
is
the
one
name.
higher.
No, Azimuth is the shit one.
It's the one higher than that.
Yes. Yes, it is called a
Oh, no,
a Corona laser rifle. Yeah, you find a Corona laser rifle, not the
Yeah.
Serpent one.
That still
So-
works.
I do more damage without a weapon.
Yeah, it's fair. You do find a variety on the captain. You find a rad shot. Specifically, let me give you the model. The radiation gun. It is a cancer gun. The electromagnetic rad shot, which is just a little pistol. It does 2d4, 40-foot range, crit irradiate, if you'd like to use it. And then just some battle gloves on him, and just a shitty little club on the captain, and that's about it for gear. As far as armor goes, it's nothing really impressive. Most of them were wearing pretty basic,
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm not
pretty
really
basic armor.
interested and they probably have not much to offer if they don't have information on stuff. She doesn't much care for
The captain does have what appears to be sort of this like compad, and he does have like his sort of like personal like PDA on a quick search. Anyone else want to do any searching in this area?
PDA to the goblin to
Yes.
Aquel.
No, Azatrana looks disinterested in anything.
Okay. What hell did you want to do any of your own investigation? You also are receiving a PDA courtesy of Nusix.
Cool.
Taking a gander around. It seems like the majority of.
PDA.
Okay.
Brad shot electromagnetic. And what was the rifle?
A
Corona.
Corona laser rifle.
It shoots
And
the
I'll say with that
coronavirus
perception
people.
check, yes, it does. Oh God. It's a very slow death. Giving a quick glance around the room, they kind of were carrying mostly just like exploratory gear. Like you're looking at like a lot of just like spelunking. Like it looks like the majority of their gear was dedicated towards having enough like climbing gear for 16 to, well, actually a fair bit more than 16. Doing the math, you'd say that like this gear could support up to twice the number of people that you saw.
I point this out
Is
to
there-
everyone. They might have another squad.
Any cable, rope, any kind of tie?
Oh, absolutely. There's
This is
tons
the
of cable.
advanced team
There's enough cable for
or back.
30 people.
Okay.
The question is, do you want to carry it all?
No, we're just gonna carry enough for what we need. She doesn't need the climbing gear at all, to be honest.
Mhm.
But
50 feet is a bulk. I'll just say that sooner.
Well, Cal will
I will-
need.
I will
something.
grab
So you
let's
have
say 20 feet.
20 feet? Okay. That's a
yeah.
light bulk.
And she is
Oh.
going to actually, because Raquel said he could not climb, she's actually going to wrap it kind of like in an X shape around her back, tie it to her front, and say, "Get on."
okay.
Goblin baby carrier.
Yoda,
Why not?
Okay. You load the goblin up onto your back. So that's what you see. All right. So other than the PDA, I think we're leaving sleeping dogs where they lie. You can just
Mhm.
I took
move
the
on
red
to
shot and the Corona for the moment.
Okay, you
At
took the
least
rad
until I
shot
could get-
and the Corona.
Probably
thing.
more the Corona for the battery.
Okay. I mean, you can just take the battery if you want.
How much do you weigh? I'm wondering if I can carry you effectively.
A goblin? I'll say a goblin weighs like 3 bulk,
Okay, yeah, I'm fine.
along with whatever she's carrying.
Yeah, I've got
He's carrying.
a good amount to spare.
Okay.
okay.
Awesome.
I think we're pretty set on that.
Sounds good. Right. Well, now with that behind you,
I might be encumbered, but
yeah,
I
it'll be
can carry
fine.
some. I have absolutely I think I have like 1 bulk or 2 bulk on. That's it.
Okay.
If you need to carry anything, I can. We don't need to blow up.
sure.
So, peering out onto the bridge, you are faced with a sort of quiet stillness after the sort of advent of the combat that just passed. The wind here is pretty stiff, looking out, and there's like some tarp and cloth that once provided some sort of shelter or coverage to the bridge, which is long since rotted away and blown away. So you kind of get this strange, almost like skeletal effect as you look forward. The majority of this bridge again being kind of just scaffolding. You can see pretty far in the distance, around 300 feet away, in this sort of steady half light. You're carrying 1 bulk, and that's because of armor. I love that. Very, very good.
Actually, the Corona laser rifle would be helpful for the ranged.
Sure.
I need it,
Well,
since something could be coming across a bridge later.
I mean, meta, it's a one shot. You're probably not going to get too much more, other than
Okay.
what I have planned.
Metagame,
all-
I'm not worried.
You
Don't worry about
you all set forward onto this bridge and moving carefully, now feeling a little better about well, I won't assume. Do you move how would you like to move across? I mean, there's still theoretically another squad out there. But this bridge is pretty rickety. So it's up to you.
Now, rickety, is it? You said it's partially
Collapsing? Yes.
enclosed and not enclosed at all in certain points. And
Yeah, there's some portions where the tarp provides some shelter from the wind, but we'll say that this is, for the most part, in high winds, and appears to be quote-unquote rickety. And depending on how fast or how slow you go and in what manner you do and what you do, things could happen. I don't know.
Is there
I'm the DM.
is there a gap
Move
between the
forward
two?
and
Like we'll have
see-
to jump across, or is it solid?
Well, it's 300 feet long, so you can't really see the entirety of it from where you are. Sir, if you were saying something?
I'm going to step lightly
Okay.
and
Yeah.
carefully in.
Same.
Moving
I'm
carefully forward.
I'm assuming this hallway has like lots of stuff in the way as well, like things obscuring vision, like you said, like
Yeah.
plates and crap and
Yeah.
tools
Yeah.
and tarps.
It's a
and stuff.
wreck. It has been a while since anyone has been here, and it has been even longer since anyone's thought to like make sense of it. So, moving forward through this little sort of hallway corridor, 20-foot wide thing. Do we want to have a marching order? I want to have a marching order. What do we want our marching order to be? Let me make myself clear.
Waqual is piggyback, so
We'll take the front.
Sure. Nusix in front, Azatrana to the back. That sounds reasonable to me.
Sounded about right.
Okay. So you move forward carefully. Carefully to me means you're keeping an eye out. So go ahead and give me a perception check. Person in front. Oh, Azatrana, you can keep eye out and back. With a 12, you don't see anyone coming up from behind you. Nusix.
Keep an eye out too, or no?
Sure, you can keep an eye out to the rear as well.
You're facing 180 because you're tied to it like a baby carrier.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. You know, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say that your head, like, you can't really like see the ground right now.
Style or your style? Which one?
24. 24. All right. Keeping an eye out, you definitely see some like sketchier boards and like places to step that you can avoid. Moving about halfway through.
I have low light and dark vision.
Yes, you can see just fine. It's more just like how sketchy are the boards / is there support for you? I.e., do you see any traps or pitfalls? About halfway through, with a 24, you also spot a 6th or another one of those shaped sort of shrapnel charges. It is behind a crate, sort of facing towards your destination, and you just like you kind of catch it as you're sort of peering around the crate, and you see it there in the corner with your vision, and you sort of hold up your hand. Azatrana to stop.
So it's a trap.
It appears to be, yeah. It appears to be left there. You don't know if it's primed or not, but it's there.
Okay. No triggering mechanism? No
Not that's visible. You cannot see anything. Yep, it's on the floor, like a claymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like propped up in the corner. If it were to detonate, the shrapnel would fly out, sort of in a cone, and
away from
probably
us,
hurt.
right? Or
Currently, yes. But if you kept walking, it would be right into you.
right. Okay, so we can. I see safely. Could approach it from the back then.
Yeah, you could like crawl over the crate and peer down at it.
Yep.
I mean, you're currently, yeah. Okay, yeah.
It's
Crawl
on
over
the
the crate.
Let's get a better look at this thing.
Mm-hmm. Peering down at it, yep. It pretty much looks exactly the same make and sort of general construction of the other ones back there.
Not primed. Not set?
Well, taking a look at it, it's difficult to say. Do you have an engineering score? No?
No.
Okay. Without an engineering score, your guess is as good as mine. And you know,
She'll call in the bomb squad.
Azatrana walks up, turns around,
Yeah. I
leans
am,
over.
Bring in the goblin.
Okay.
I'm the guy in the bulldozer suit.
Okay.
Look out,
See.
dangling a little bit over in your baby carrier. You can look and you can see rolling an
Oh.
engineering check. 25. You know, it doesn't really look like it has a sensor on it. Best guess is it's completely inert.
Okay.
I think it's inert.
Does it seem to be?
Unless one of my countrymen recently
Go ahead and,
monkeyed with it.
Put your body where your mouth is.
Is there a trigger?
Step forward.
Is this a trap that is like triggered from a like stepping near it, or is there like a tripwire? Or...
Wakel, as best as you can tell,
We don't know what
Yeah.
if there
yeah,
is
Wakel, as
mechanism.
best as you can tell, it's not primed and it doesn't appear to have a triggering mechanism, as best as you can tell.
Well, let's go.
All right. And did you want Wakel to be the official canary in the coal mine for you, or
She's the expert.
yeah, prove it?
I mean, to be fair, we're on the middle of the bridge. If it goes, we go.
Just like that.
Right, she's gonna do an Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. Start looking for things to grab onto.
Okay. So, Wakel, you get off of Azatrana's back and you carefully step around the box, and as you do, sort of stepping abreast with the explosion, like the explosive device, you wince and you hold your breath, and nothing happens. You were right. It's not primed.
Okay.
and you keep walking.
I thought you were gonna be like, and boom, it goes off.
And boom, no. No, 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 no. It was a red herring. All right, and the three of you continue onwards. Going carefully, there's a section of this as you move forward that's exposed to air, and most, if not all, of the supporting floorboard has fallen away. All that's left is a sort of thin sort of support beam that forms the majority of the skeleton of this walkway. Beyond that lies the door to your destination. This thin sort of like beam that's the only thing connecting the bridge appears pretty sturdy, and it's about 25 feet long.
Is the gap
The
25
winds
feet
here
long?
howling. The gap is 25 feet long from one side to the next, and the winds howling here make it a little hard to talk at normal volume as you look out across
To be
this.
pulled
the
out
sky.
again to examine this.
I don't know.
Are you?
I don't know. You have me in the back of seeing it.
So
Well, I
it's
mean-
just a narrow walkway we have to balance our way across.
It's just narrow, and the winds are blowing, and it's a narrow walkway. Yeah, you could absolutely balance beam your way across this.
How long is it? How
25 feet.
25 feet? Okay.
How wide is the beam?
Like 6 inches, maybe.
Why don't we have some rope and a grappling hook or two? Something that we can fit it on. So in case something happens, we don't fall all the way down.
Azatrana's gonna look across and, without looking at him, say to Qual, is the other side stable?
Waqual turns around. Waqual, take a look. The 24. It takes about a minute to look. Yes, the DC is 15. Yeah, taking a look at it. Seems fine.
She's
Works for
gonna,
me.
she's gonna grab a hold of the rope.
I jump
Focus. Oh, you're gonna jump? Okay.
So, as New Six is preparing to make her way across, Azatrana takes a running start and leaps, rolling a 33, which is perfectly
natural two.
fine,
Oh,
right? Because your base jump
Horizontal
is
distance equals DC.
yeah. Okay, and clears the gap handily, even jumping 25 feet,
Yep.
skidding a bit, balancing, and she's fine.
I assumed Wakul
well,
was
I am
still on her
certainly
back.
glad that I went to the bathroom before the meeting.
All right, New Six, you're still on the other side with the rope.
And like mods there? You got leapers or something?
I got leapers, I got speed, I got high athletics and high acrobatics.
I love the
I don't want
jump.
anything to do with drugs.
Yep.
It,
You probably see the reason why she earned the name Sky Leaper.
Yes.
All right, sir, what you got?
I guess, well, now that we have the rope, we'll just go across.
Oh yeah, you toss the rope to the other side. I'm just gonna say that doesn't take too much effort.
Sure.
And holding it taut, you definitely have a sort of safety. As you walk across, go ahead and give me. Are you just gonna climb like the rope, like, or do you want to just like walk across and use the rope as a securing thing?
She's got acrobatics. Yeah, what is it? Acrobatics to balance?
Yeah, it's acrobatics balance.
Across? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. She's gonna focus inward for a moment and and then step forward.
Okay. Yeah, you're totally fine. I mean, you didn't roll very well, but totally fine as you make your way across. Whew, there's a bit of a scary moment there where it feels like you're almost going to slip off, but you make it to the other side just fine. And you step onto the other side. You're basically in front of the door now, and you've made it across this rickety-ass bridge, which... There you go. Okay. With that in mind, let me switch maps for myself here. So, The three of you sort of dusting yourself off, giving a second to breathe after the sort of kind of like nerve-wracking across this trek across this bridge. Look forward, and a matching set of double sliding doors is in front of you. The sort of clear acrylic glassish panes, revealing another wide open floor plan.
Wait,
Dimly
okay.
lit.
Oh, never mind.
What?
Oh,
Oh,
Paul
am I
disappeared
back?
for a sec.
Oh, okay. Dimly lit by the ever-setting sun. This sort of wide open floor plan. As you step forward, the door slides open of its own volition, and you step into this space. In front of you, the elevator shaft forms the sort of the closest line of sight blocking thing is this elevator shaft, and you see the double doors are pried slightly open and are pitch black inside. Next to it is a gaggle, this sort of tangle of wires, and some sections of the flooring here on this like sort of level of the skyscraper have fallen away. You can see it yawns down deep, maybe 5-6 stories down. But the thing that's the most obvious after you step into this space is the pile of bodies everywhere.
Ooh.
Around 16 to 18 further armored troopers, the same sort of insignia and pattern and equipment like you saw previously, are strewn about the floor here in various states of death and dismemberment. Most of them look like they died violently.
Hasatrana
And
just kind of
one,
lets out a little low growl and goes, "Are we sure we didn't make a U-turn?"
Looks like
one,
it's going to be a stand-up fight.
one is paradoxically floating, dead as a doornail. You can see that their intestines are on the ground next to them, but they are floating, just like sort of draped over something invisible
Like they're not
and
moving.
motionless on the ground. Yeah.
Hmm.
No sign of anything that caused this.
So you're looking for something that could have done this? Roll me a perception check. 26. Taking a look around, I mean, it's kind of a wide open space. In the distance, maybe 100 or so feet away, you can see some like a little sturdier structure, like some walls in between some of these like struts and supports holding the ceiling up. And as you're looking around, you hear a faint beeping from your pocket, and you take out the device, or what Kel does. Take out the device, and you actually hear
PDA?
it. Yeah, the scanner
Or
thing
the scanner.
is
Okay.
beeping at a slightly higher frequency. So it sounds like you're getting closer. But other than that, you really don't see what could have dismembered all of these things.
What do I have to hack into the PDA?
No, it's just functioning. It's like a heartbeat
Uh,
sensor.
What does it say? The PDA that
It's
we
just-
got off the captain.
Oh, that PDA! Yes, you'd have to hack into that.
Sure thing.
New sticks here, going to move stealthily. Okay.
Very much so. Oh,
Ooh.
Hell yeah. And again, it's a shitty little PDA, so you crack into it pretty quickly. It had slightly stronger encryption than the door, but not by much. Taking a look inside of it, the captain sent a bunch of different messages to different members, securing like details and like gear and all that stuff for this op. And you can see the original. You can actually see the message that up from the person that hired him. It offered him and his group a fee of 30,000 credits total, split as they wished, to locate a vault that was supposedly hidden in one of these skyscrapers. They had no clue where it was. All they needed to do was locate the vault for an extraction team, and it assigned Mr. Green.
sent them on
Raquel
the same mission
hands
as us.
it and shows the other two.
So,
Hiring multiple people.
He's double dipping.
yeah. Paid upon delivery, by the way, for both of you. So,
Yeah, just hiring a bunch of people. It's like a bounty. It's like an open bounty.
Is this guy that's dead and floating? Is he like flat, vertical? Does it look like he's like
he looks like he's draped
rounded?
across something invisible.
invisible.
Okay.
Mhm.
Does it look like he's on like a sphere or like a mangled shape or?
I mean, taking a look at him, it just looks like he's on something. It's difficult to
Okay.
tell. I mean,
Yeah, just creeping closer to get a better look.
And how far away is this thing?
well, the floating corpse?
yeah.
I don't know, 40, 50-ish feet in front of you?
Okay. Yeah, I'll try
It's not
to.
super.
I'll try to be quiet as well. Where's my?
Okay, go ahead and roll stealth for me.
This room is like, how would you describe the function of
Ooh,
this room? Jesus.
20s for days.
It's nice.
Can we
So the
switch
function of
roles?
this room, it's not a room, right? Like it's you. I'm trying to find a pop culture reference that's like, you remember the end of Batman, the second Batman, where he's fighting Joker in that like half-built building or whatever, and like it's like this wide open space, and all it is like the skeleton of a
It's
skyscraper.
just the framework.
That's what you're in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's
Okay.
literally just this huge open space. In the distance, you can see what looks to be something a little more built. But where you are is just floor, ceiling, and the struts necessary to keep this thing standing. It's very much an in-progress space. So, Azatrana, you are melding in. You are sticking to the bits of shadow that the framing provides you. As you, what, are you stepping forward to investigate this corpse, or are you just hanging out, being
Just
all
kind of
cool?
scouting
Nice.
the area more than anything else. Trying to get.
Some of us
there-
are.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wait, that's a. Is that a nat 1?
Yes,
You
it
get a
is.
20?
Yeah.
Golly, your stealth's high. No, just kind of slinking around. You said there were holes in the floor occasionally?
Yeah, there's one huge open yawning pit for sure, but and it's like a large section of the floor that appears to have collapsed several stories down. You can see it's kind of a dizzying drop. But yeah, there are some portions where there's like the flooring's ripped up a bit, but nothing as impressive as that pit. Next to the elevator, there's the gaggle of wires, there's the floating corpse, and as you're walking around, you see another kind of awkwardly positioned corpse. This one's interesting though. This one appears to be wrapped around some. Wait, you're a Vesk. Do you have dark vision?
Low light.
No? Okay, so you don't have dark vision. So it's sort of halfway in the shadow, and it seems to almost be hugging the shadow of this pillar.
Okay, I will walk up to it.
Uh-huh.
Pull out a
As you walk
lighter.
up to it, walking, pulling out a lighter, you
At the
flick
end,
up,
at the end of the movement, yeah.
you flick open your lighter, and in the dim half light of the flame, he doesn't appear to be hugging anything, but his arms are separated by something invisible.
I will tap the open section of the lighter against where whatever he's hugging should be.
It hits something. You're not sure what, but it's hard and is totally there,
Does it
but
look
doesn't seem to react.
like he's crushed to the thing, or like death gripping it, or?
Yes, all of the above.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I think the stealth check's actually a 17.
That's okay. I forgive you. There's no one alive here currently. I'll just level with you.
She'll just say, "What the hell is this?"
Okay. Well, Nusix, as you're looking around carefully as well, silently as well, I'm assuming with your stealth check?
Yeah.
Okay. Just taking a look around. You also see the strange floating corpse. You also see what Azatrana does, which is this dude who's hugging the shadow. But you don't know. Whatever these dudes were fighting appears to have either died or left.
Okay. Should you do a medicine check to maybe try to see what kind of wounds they have?
Absolutely. Go for it.
Reach over and just kind of flip one of the bodies over unceremoniously and garner any info.
Mm-hmm. Blunt force trauma. A fist, most likely, approximately the size of your torso, crushed this dude's skull.
Oh.
That's your best bet.
That's the size of my skull, you said?
The fist the size of your torso.
Crushed
Like
his
about-
skull.
Yeah.
All right, something big killed him.
Yeah.
His people.
It looks like he tried to kiss a log
that was coming towards him.
that was coming towards him. Yeah, it looks like something big and round caved in everything from the shoulders up.
And is the signal like maximized here, or we haven't reached it yet?
Well, Kel's still holding the signal. It's beeping a little louder in this room. I don't know how far has Wakel walked forward, or has Wakel sort of been working on the iPad?
He is
this
walking
time?
forward. Raquel is going to be looking, trying to find tracks.
Okay. Well,
And-
that would be perception to find him. Yep. Okay. You do
then survival.
see in the dust, because this place hasn't been cleaned in a while. You do see in the dust very, very large footprints. Following them around, you actually end right. This set of footprints ends right at the floating corpse, and then there appears to be some sort of like intense scuffle in this area, and then the corpse has fallen, and something big fell here too, and you can kind of almost see the imprint of a massive body underneath this floating corpse, just like in the dust.
Do we let sleeping dogs lie? Or make
Don't
sure?
have mysticism to try to figure out why he's
Yeah, you can attempt to identify what the fuck is going on if you'd like.
Life science? Or
No,
no? Just
be mysticism or engineering.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
physical science. Physical science.
Well, I might.
Okay, gonna go with a no for you.
That's
You have
fine.
no clue what the fuck is going on.
All right, well, now we know what to look out for. Let's keep going.
Big invisible assholes. And as you all leave the dead where they lie, you keep walking forward. And yeah, Raquel, it is getting louder as you move towards this sort of more put together area. You eventually find this sort of partitioned off section. It appears to be an office building of some sort. And in the half light, you can see, not an office building, like an office space. Sorry. An office space of some sort. And you can see in this half light that there are some sort of flat pack furniture and like supplies actually here. Moving sort of through and around this space as the signal gets stronger and stronger, you come across a sealed set of double doors. And they're sealed with a little padlock, actually. Chained up, the two handles chained up, and the signal seems to be strongest here in front of this set of double doors. Dust covering everywhere, still this general aura of abandonment. But this is where the signal has led you.
It's
Going
actually
to
padlocked?
search.
It's actually padlocked. The
Alright.
doors are chained together and
I'm going
padlocked.
to search for traps.
Go ahead and roll perception for me, please. Nusix and Azatrana, anything you two would like to do?
Also, just examine the door. I'm gonna check.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
Just waiting for them. Just waiting.
door. It's a door.
Yeah, it's a door. You don't
It's
see
door.
the traps.
It does things. Just door things.
Nusix, you don't notice anything. Well, Cal, you look at it and it's like it's a door. I mean, it's just a fucking door.
I will. I mean, can you get through it, or do you need me? What kind of?
I think that's engineering, though, isn't it?
Is this a wooden door, a metal door, glass?
It appears to be made of, for lack of a better word, plasteel. It's a sturdy door that you might find in an office building.
Okay.
You know, it's nothing out of sorts. It would take an amount of strength to break down.
Okay.
Okay.
Is anybody able
I'm
to-
assuming engineering works in this case.
Hang back a good distance away, and
If you have an engineering kit or thieves' tools, yes, engineering works.
Yeah, I don't have that.
If you do
So
not have an
we
engineering kit,
I'm blasting it.
You're blasting.
wait, aren't you? You're a mechanic, aren't you?
you're an
Doesn't
excellent
your
mechanic.
thing? Yeah.
That's
Doesn't
what
your
I'm double
Your
checking.
custom rig
If
does
I-
count.
If my
as
custom
adequate
rig
tools.
automatically counts, then yes, I
It
have
counts as
it.
an engineering
absolutely.
kit, not. Actually, no.
Thieves'
It
tools.
lists at this level. It might count as thieves' tools.
No, I don't think so.
There's
Not.
there's a thing you get eventually where it's like your kit counts as you having any toolkit below your character level.
Oh shit.
One
Well,
sec. 1 second.
I want to say that's
why don't
level
we?
5.
Oh my god, that's
Checking.
cool.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Mechanics are cool.
they are.
Oh,
I
yeah,
never
they're
played
awesome.
them.
I almost made one for this game actually. It's fun.
Hey, look at that.
I remember
fun.
because I always flavored Sarah's pulling his out like in his sleeve as like a little like tool that he made. But I remember that ability. But I don't remember if it was level 5 or level 7.
Neato.
But you should have it by now for level 8.
Expert rig.
Yeah.
Now used as
Okay.
any engineering or hacking specialty kit of item level 6 or lower.
Neat. Thieves' tools definitely counts in that umbrella.
Oh, I
so-
thought I didn't need to have any of those. Okay. So engineering.
Oh my god!
21, 1, 20.
Jesus.
All right. And funnily enough, no, there wasn't a trap. Sometimes a door is really just a door.
Door.
Sometimes
With
it's
a
just
solid
padlock.
click, the padlock slips open. You're like the lock picking lawyer on YouTube. I love that guy.
I love that guy.
You
too.
just 10 seconds. This should take someone around an hour to pick. 10 seconds later, and
Yeah.
there it is. There it's open.
Sometimes he doesn't even
And that's
pick it,
what
he
you
just
do.
Smashes it against the desk.
With kind of a jiggle and a twist, Raquel, you are through the lock, and you slide it open, and the chain slides and sort of lands to the ground with a heavy thump. It doesn't make that noise. It makes a chain noise, but I can't do that with my mouth. So you open the doors into a long hallway that was kind of obscured by the partitioned wall. And immediately you sense a change in the atmosphere. There's a hiss of air as the doors open, rushing, it would be towards you. And the interior of this area is constructed of an entirely different material. Appears to be this sort of dull greenish metal. It's roughly hexagonal in shape. It's very clean. And at the end of this long, straight hallway is a very heavy set of doors with a complex locking mechanism there. Physical science?
Material. Although if it's a star metal, I may already know it anyway.
It's Noqual. Yes, it's a Noqual ally.
Oh, you mean like this?
Yes. Yes, it's a Noqual alloy. Magic resistant. Okay. So, the end of this
Ooh, I
long,
could mine
straight
this.
hallway, there is a heavy set of double doors.
Any,
And if you recall... Yes?
any signs of? I mean, I assume there's not, but any signs of movement or anything in here?
Oh, it's a pretty... like, it's only 30 feet long, this
Okay.
hallway. It's very much, you can tell what's in front of you.
Okay.
You don't see
The
anything major.
lock with me.
Okay,
And the
you
chain.
you have a lock of
What?
a level. I'll have to look at my notes exactly
I
what
don't
it is.
care. I'm just taking it so no one can use it if they come in after us.
Just throw it.
You
off the
got
side
it,
of the bridge.
boss. Perception check. What you keeping an eye out
Just
for?
checking out the door.
Yeah, the door on the other side appears to be plated in this Noqual alloy or made of it. At this distance, it's difficult to tell. It's large. It's imposing. It has what appears to be a physical lock and an electronic lock. Though, according to the intel that you received from Navix, you're only going to need the little device that the dude gave you to gain access into this vault. He said it would crack the safe. So, who the hell knows? From your distance, though, it doesn't appear to have anything... Yes, other than the rapidly beeping now heartbeat sensor. I keep calling it a heartbeat sensor because that's just what I think of. There's nothing else really going on in this room. There's a screen on the vault. It's off. Other than that, it's lit sort of low by like sort of inlaid fluorescent-ish lighting on the ceiling and floor.
Are there any other doors into this room other than the one that we just came in?
Nope. It is a single line.
All right, let's do it.
Are there any windows?
No.
Okay.
Is it locked?
Definitely shut the door behind us.
The big door or the small door?
The one that leads us further in.
Leads us further in. From where you're standing, you're gonna guess yes, but until you get closer, I cannot answer that for you.
Okay.
Could also lock the
Gonna
door
step
behind us.
closer.
Yeah. Okay. You said you could lock the door behind us. Are you going to do that?
Throwing that idea out there. I don't have the lock.
And the door lock behind
The
us?
door was chained, was locked
Yeah.
with a chain and a padlock. There's no way we're gonna
Yeah.
lock it behind us.
Well, unless there's a handle on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody behind us. Everybody's dead. And
Yeah,
it's a
I mean-
crazy thing with fists.
There's
What the
clearly backup on our way, or on its way.
Well, that's why
Well-
we need to be in and out. Stop
Yeah.
talking about this.
Also, if you wanna think about it a little bit, Squad B was calling for help, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yes,
That's
the
what I mean.
second squad's
that
the one
was
that
Squad B.
died.
They're all gone. Yeah.
They're all
Oh, that's a good
toasty.
The only question is there a squad C?
Well,
Well,
I
let's not
can't
stick
answer
around
that for
and
you.
find out.
Yeah, that seems like an answer that you don't want to find out right now. All right, moving forward, what can I get? Can I get a marching order, please?
Same as before.
So
Same
if the
as before.
goblin is going in, then he's got to go first. He's going to
Oh,
go.
Yes. Beep, beep, beep,
Door.
beep, 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 beep,
Yeah.
beep,
All right,
beep.
can I get a perception check from
Well.
you, Wakel, if you're keeping an eye out, and if you're not, then Godspeed you.
Fuses.
All right, walking forward, doing your best to keep an eye out, making sure that nothing catches you unawares as you step forward, foot over foot. You step, and then hold on, let me check something. Did I finally get someone?
I think so.
You think so? I don't know, this one isn't very difficult, is it? Who knows? Oh my god, yeah, no, you absolutely don't. You step, and your foot catches nothing, and you teeter forward. I need you to roll an acrobatics. No, not an
Whoa, whoa,
acrobatics,
whoa,
a
whoa, whoa.
reflex save for me as you teeter forward into a pit. Completely missing it.
Oh my
31.
god.
31 is very good. Wow, boy howdy.
Can we switch
Right.
to roll 20?
No,
No.
At least for the
I don't
dice
want to use
rolls?
I don't want to use roll 20. I
I mean,
hate this thing.
Just for the dice rolls and nothing else.
All right. So as you fall forward, you plunge into this pit of what looks to be raw Noquel metal, like sort of jagged and almost like a pile of refuse. But the placement is very intentional. As you sort of prop yourself up along the wall and manage to avoid sliding, you take half damage from this, and you do not gain the bleeding condition. You take 8 points of damage from the thing, and then it's a 20-foot fall, so it's
Oh, you found
3d6,
like a putty
right?
trap.
This thing's banned by the Geneva Convention. Look at that.
A lot of stuff is. Doesn't mean it
You take
doesn't count.
13 points of bludgeoning damage from the fall, and you take 8 points of slashing damage
21.
from. Yep, 8 points of slashing damage from the actual sharp metal bullshit at the bottom of this. But because you passed your reflex, it did not do any lasting damage to you. It mostly just knocked the wind out of you as it hit you in the squishy bits. Okay.
Is,
Okay. Careful.
is
They
it-
have images up there.
So
Can
wait,
someone throw me a rope, please?
you're 20 feet in a hole? Yeah. She will.
Well, no. As far as you two saw, Wakel disappeared.
Oh.
Fell literally through the floor.
Ew.
Oh, he's dead.
Okay.
You up there?
Yeah.
There. I'm out. Where the hell are you? In another dimension?
I mean, I
Are you
assume.
dead?
I assume I see her fall at least.
I mean, yeah, you see her fall through the
Okay.
floor.
I will step like say 2 feet back from where I last saw her.
Just
Okay.
toss a rope in front of
Yeah,
you,
I
and
will-
it should fall through the floor.
I will undo the cable that I wrapped around myself because I said I took 20 feet.
Hey, there you go.
And kind of lob it down a little bit, holding the ends. Probably like 15 feet of it is down there or so.
You see Azatrana not really looking at you, but looking and just kind of hesitatingly throw a rope, and you catch onto it, kind of confused. But as you climb up, you see as you pass through a holographic floor, and you are now on the same side that you started, but a little
An
bit.
idea of how wide the pit is, supposedly.
Taking a quick look at it, you would guess 10, 15 feet, maybe.
Okay.
How wide is this hole?
Around it? Can we skirt around it?
No, it is as wide as the hallway. The hallway is
Oh,
about 15 feet
So we
wide.
just need to jump
Ooh.
it?
Yeah, you either need to jump it or find a way across.
Can
we walk
high are
across?
the walls?
No, officers, hi, how are you? The walls. This is like a square corridor. It's about 15 by 15 by 15.
Okay. Well, looks like I'm being a fairy again because I assume I can't carry Nussex. She will retie the rope. Total grab
Wait,
back
do you
on.
have anything to toss? Actually, I have a spare battery right now that I haven't recharged.
Unless they've trapped the walls in such a way, I can give you
No,
controls.
I'm thinking there could be something on the other side.
Oh, you're gonna wall run and then fall through the wall?
I could one up you better than that.
I'll
So-
activate no clip and.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, what would you like to do? What call?
I'm gonna take the empty battery I have,
Mhm.
toss it across the way
Mhm.
so that it lands and skitters down. Let's see if it falls off, disappears down the hallway.
Okay. Okay.
All I'm trying to do is get it to go across the
Roll-
hallway and then skid down.
Roll me a thrown weapon attack, just for my own personal edification.
Yeah, sends the whole thing tumbling.
Yeah.
Reaction.
You know, you probably don't have a +2 to thrown weapons because of your long arm weapon focus, but I appreciate the
No,
note.
9, sorry. How did that score a +2 in there? Okay.
I don't know. That is okay though, cause with an 11, it skitters along and it reaches just about the end of the hallway before 2 arcs of electricity from the corners of the room vaporize it from existence. Yes.
There we go.
Okay, but that was a
Guess
fair
we
ways
can
away. It wasn't.
Jump over the pit now.
Yeah, you can jump over the pit.
You
I
don't
was.
need to jump.
You're gonna
It's
walk,
20
aren't you?
Just
It's
climb on.
the pit's 10 feet wide. Like it's no
Yeah.
biggie.
I have a climb speed, but I can't climb while encumbered. Otherwise, I'd offer to grab you. But Nusix is just gonna literally scale the walls,
Yeah.
skitter like a spider almost.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Assuming Waqual. Will picking up Waqual actually encumber me?
it's 3 bulk. It's a goblin.
Then no.
He's
it
a
will not.
goblin.
Get on.
He's a little goblin.
I
Yeah,
have to
the
check,
two of
it's
you.
close.
The pit trap only works when it's a surprise. Like it's not a very difficult challenge to overcome. Now, looking at the blackened scorch mark on the floor where a battery once was. By the way, feel free to erase that from your character sheet. It appears to have stopped around 10 to 15 feet in front of or away from the vault door. So a little ways down the hallway from you. What would you folks like to do?
Do we see
She's
anything
gonna
that set off the electricity?
Oh, we're just gonna make a run for it.
You gonna make a run for it? Hell yeah, New Six. You, as a Toronto, you're like looking around trying to figure out what triggered the electricity. New Six.
As she enters the corridor, though, she actually, her feet kind of leave the ground.
Oh, okay. Darting forward,
Flutters across 40 feet, and then
40
lands.
and yeah, nothing appears to happen to her, as she just flies across, feet not even touching the ground, and she lands on the other side, right in front of the vault door, making it look easy.
This is a hole on the other or just the area
Corridor.
that the electricity
I was
went.
just testing it out to see if it was going to blow up.
Mm-hmm. You don't see anything specific that indicated why it would shock the fuck out of you. It just apparently is going to shock the fuck out of you.
Hurry up before it resets.
Alright.
Ah.
Jump. Let's go.
You jump.
35 feet.
All right, you jump 35 feet. Roll me an athletics check, I guess, because I think you need to roll for that high.
Yep.
Go for it.
Oh my god! I could have jumped
You
50 feet. I could have beat my record.
Slam into the wall. Just-
I bunny hopped
So
and
you
I went
jump-
too fast.
you jump over where the battery gets scorched on the floor, and whew, nothing happens. Everything seems fine. The device now pinging like mad, standing in front of this vault door. Mm-hmm.
Great.
Let's go.
Okay. So, as you move forward, in this space, the last bit of distance, this vault door is just as imposing as it looked like when we were on the other side of the hallway, which admittedly isn't very long. 15 feet tall, impossibly thick, implausibly thick. The interface sort of lights up as you step forward, and a little symbol pops up on it, a gold triangle with a little blue key in it. And it disappears after a moment, and it appears to be... Yes, absolutely. Appears to
I
be
know this
gently
one.
pulsing. Yes. Appears to be gently pulsing in time with the little doodad that you have.
Get in.
Click.
As you hold up the doodad to the door, it's kind of like RFID. You hear a
Yep.
loud click, a series of sort of nested chung 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 chung, and this large door rolls out of the way, revealing a large open hallway, kind of like the one that you were in, but twice as big, twice as wide, sort of tall ceilings. In this vault that you can see are piles of boxes and objects and things of all sorts of different make and size and creation. Some stuff that looks a little weird. You can see a strange apparatus in the corner as you sort of peer in. A majority of these boxes, however, are these long black boxes stacked 2 or 3 high. And these take up the majority of the front of the room. Beyond them, there's a gaggle, like some more cargo boxes in the background. And the thing is pulsing like mad as you look into here. Each of those large black boxes has the symbol of Abadar Core on the side of them.
Okay.
There's your key. How long
You're
is this
standing
hallway?
here at the entrance of this
Or
this
trap
Inside the safe.
again.
the inside of this vault. The inside of this vault is around I don't know. You're thinking a little more than 100 feet, probably. It is pretty well lit. You'd say it's about. You'd say it's normal light.
Okay.
As you step in, the lights sort of flicker on.
Where's this thing? Let's find this thing.
Yeah, with a 16 perception check, you're looking forward. You don't really see any traps or anything. With a 16 perception check, your 16 is so different. You see traps in every corner. No, it's pretty much the same.
Go ahead, Skyleaper, try it.
As the front of you step forward,
Sure.
right? Stepping forward into the space, the air here smells and tastes clean too. Seems like there's some sort of filtration system or enclosed atmosphere. As you step forward, you kind of startle as the vault door begins to slide shut behind you.
Am I the only one inside?
No, I'm assuming all of you sort of step forward into the space.
Do you have? I will. How far away am I from the door?
About 10 feet, maybe.
I will.
Why don't I show you?
Okay.
Hold on. I need to copy all your tokens. Copy.
Does it look like the thing can unlock from the inside? With the
I
little
mean-
device I have?
Your best guess is that yes, this vault isn't meant to be a death trap, but I mean, you know, suppose you'll find out in a moment.
Yep.
Okay, why don't we go and visit our little map here?
Ooh.
We have a map.
Mm-hmm. And you can see some of those crates. Those are crates, trust me. Some of those crates I have marked in green their height, just so that you can be made aware of them.
How high is the ceiling?
30 feet.
Okay.
Okay, so the door is sliding shut behind you.
I mean, if Wakwal doesn't
Just gonna
react,
dart for cover.
yeah, if Wakwal doesn't react, then she's just gonna just watch it close.
You should have the ability to move these tokens. Please verify if you have the
Yes.
chance. Okay, good. All right, go ahead and move to wherever you would like for the taking cover. Yeah, just
Is
sort of
the
moving forward.
the door's behind us?
The door's behind you. Yes,
Okay,
I can indicate it with something a little more concrete. Hold on. That's the door.
Okay. I don't know how to do waypoint movement like you did, but I know I can easily get there.
Hold Q.
Hold Q.
Hmm.
Did nothing for me.
Oh, well,
Try.
then never mind. I lied to
You
you.
have to pick up the token and then
You have to what?
pick up the token and then hold Q.
Ah. So yeah, I still would have made it here easily.
Dashing forward. Yes, you find yourselves next to these large black containers with the Abadar core symbol stapled to the side of them. Mew, I'm guessing you want to use this as your token now? I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. Like, represents character. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. I will mess with that in a moment. Stepping forward, yes, the door slams shut. Well, not slide. It's sort of just like chunks as it hits home again. And you hear the nested chunk, 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 chunk as it relocks. Now there is some sort of interface on the inner part of the door, so it doesn't look like you're locked in here.
Okay.
But the door is now closed. You find yourself in the vault that you're supposed to be in. The device is still beeping like mad, somehow getting even more intense as you step further into this chamber.
Do we hear
How's the lighting in here?
Pardon?
How's the lighting?
It's normal.
It's normal. Normal lighting. As you stepped in, it became normal lighting. Much the same as the hallway behind you, sort of lined in the walls, these fluorescent lights now shining.
If nothing comes out to reveal itself, she's going to creep forward.
Okay. No, nothing comes out to reveal itself.
Do we hear any kind of movement or anything?
Ooh, well, you hear Nusix as she attempts to stealthily along the floor.
I only rolled a 15.
No, it doesn't.
Oh no! You don't even hear Nusix. No, you don't really hear much. It kind of low hum. Now that you pay attention, the low hum of like, it almost feels like you're in a starship. You know, the kind of like recycled air, that kind of hum.
Okay.
That's it.
Is the thing still beeping, by the way?
Like fucking bonkers. It's just
Louder
going
and louder.
like
Well,
crazy.
I'm just not going to try to be stealthy. I'm kind of a big, noisy thing right now.
Keeping perception open. Yeah, these big black boxes tend to stand out a little bit compared to all the smaller things. Uniform. These are the only things that bear the symbol of Abadar core in this room. That's something you would notice as someone who is interested in all things Abadar. And moving forward in the space, the beeping gets stronger and stronger as you approach this back corner.
Ooh. That was nifty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to actually check one of the boxes before we go all the way in back.
Sure. These boxes, they're crates more like. You could pop one open if you'd like at one of the ends. Take a look inside. Or
I'll
you
search
can
first before be careful. They have security. Some security has security of security.
Then don't touch it. We're here for one thing.
You're distracted. Do that thing. If you're not going to do it, I'll do it.
Okay. The perception check, that's you checking it for traps.
Yep.
It appears to be completely untrapped.
So was it New Six is saying, "Come on, let's go, let's
Yeah,
move."
Both. Both of us.
Grab
were
the thing
saying
from you if you don't stop what you're doing.
Okay.
There's no time for this looting and pillaging.
So as you step forward into this space, you see on the ground, 5 or 6 these of like these medallions. They're about fist-sized for Ozatrana, so they're kind of big for you, maybe 4 or 5 inches across. Not really arrayed in any sort of pattern, kind of in a pile. And your device emits a long, steady tone, standing in front of these amulets, these strange things on the ground. They're
Hey.
scattered about. Yeah, they're scattered about.
Is what we're here for, I guess.
Yep, I don't see any traps myself, but I missed
Locked
the
in
floor
somehow.
too.
Okay.
Do can I make any kind of roll to identify these amulets?
Arcana? Sorry. Now who's playing the wrong game? Do you have mysticism?
Nope.
Then no. They're
Okay.
medallions.
That's fine.
Nothing
Anyone
stands out
else
to you about
recognize
them.
anything?
Which
Nope,
do I
don't
see?
care.
Which
All I care about, that's what we're here to get.
with
Mhm.
while waving it over, do I see which one is the proper target?
They
Oh,
appear
there's
to all be the proper target.
all of them.
Set.
All these medallions.
Set piece.
Oh, it's all of them.
Yeah.
They're
I mean,
all
it's just
they're all fist size, or collectively they're fist sized.
they're all fist sized. They're pretty big. I mean, like
Okay.
it's not something you've noticed until you're pretty much on top of them because they kind of lie flat on the ground. They're like maybe a half-inch thick. But
So what are we supposed to do when we find them? Send a signal out?
yeah, that's the
Send
job.
the signal out, or take them back
No.
and secure the area. Which
Mhm.
Well, let's send a signal. That's what we're supposed to do, and see what happens after that.
Okay. Well, you pull out your comm and it comes through scratchy, or not scratchy. Like you're able to send the message off that says, package secured. Here are the coordinates, and you receive a confirmation, and that they will be back or they will be there in 15 minutes.
You know anyone else that's also there, maybe listening for that signal?
Well, everybody else is dead, except for that other thing. I doubt it's got a
most they're
radio.
not getting in here.
Unless
Getting
he has a third
giant
team.
hands.
We have the key. They're not getting in.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
we can help.
as you step away, you get another return message from Navix. The message reads, "Just wanted to confirm, Mr. Green would like to know that all 6 are there."
We see
Anyone?
5, right?
That is what I described, yes.
Only 5.
As you're typing, can I get perception checks from all of you?
Sure. No, you may not.
Okay, well then you die immediately. God smites you where you stand.
Oh, we all did great.
You all did fan-fucking-tastic. You don't... There's like a moment of confusion. It's like, no, we only see 5. And then this sort of weird feeling washes across all of you. I need you all to roll will saves for me, please.
Will
bit.
saves. I
Will
will fail the save. I
saves.
will fail the save.
Oh no!
I will fail this
no!
save. I will
What?
fail this save.
Natural 2.
I will
Okay.
almost certainly fail this save. I don't care what the DC is.
All right. That's 1 fail, 2 fail, 3.
That's
Weehaw!
Our natural 20s are
Okay.
catching up to us.
Apparently they are. Well, your natural
I
20s.
basically just roll crap, except for a few really.
I
nice-
don't know that I don't know that anyone else has been having luck like yours tonight sooner. Okay.
I rolled like 3 or 4 ones now.
At least 3, I think. We've all had a 20 so far, at least 1 or 2.
Okay. Well. All right.
Okay, we need to find out where the other one
Are the-
is.
This strange, sickly feeling passes across all of you. And as you're just sitting there, sort of trying to bring to mind what it reminds you of, you're finding like you're having a lot of trouble recalling or thinking of kind of anything. You're sort of looking around at each other. It's whose perception was the highest originally? It's new 6.
16.
Wakwal's actually the first person to notice that something is casting a shadow on him that wasn't there before. And looking up, you see the strangest looking entity that you've ever seen. Standing at around 7-ish, 8-ish feet tall. Body made of these large golden plates connected by this swirling mass of faintly pulsing weird white energy. At its very core, in its chest, is a nightmarish tangle of cogs and wheels, all sort of grinding and cracking as they roll against each other, and suspended in the middle of its chest is that Abadar core medallion. Its hands are empty, and as it stands there sort of outstretched, you can tell that this was the source of the magic. although you still feel very, very strange. I don't know how to make this spit out into chat, but the spell that you've all been subjected to is called a mental block.
I have never heard of that.
Okay, cool. You're gonna hate me. Mental block says that for the next 9 rounds, because that's how long the duration is, you are incapable of using any feat, extraordinary ability, spell-like ability, or supernatural ability that requires an action of any kind. Each round at the end of your turn, you can attempt another will save to end this effect.
Okay, that's actually not as bad as I was thinking it was.
Right. It depends on who I hit.
Supernatural, what else abilities?
Literally every ability. Why don't I just say that? If you have an ability, it does not work unless it's passive. Passive abilities work. So for example, I could gain entropy points, but I couldn't spend them.
So like fleet works, but lunge does not. Actually, lunge
yes.
does not. expend an
Lunge requires you to take an action to use it.
action. It just says you must decide to use this ability before making any attack.
You know, I'm gonna say that lunge requires you to take an action to use it.
Okay.
I'm a DM. I can decide that. Yeah, that
that's
takes
what
an
I'm-
action.
Yeah, that's what I'm just.
Done. Cool. Everyone, you know what time it is.
It's 9:45.
It's
So
oh yeah,
time?
it's getting very
I'm
close
down
to this, isn't it?
Finish this through.
It shouldn't last terribly long.
Quick about it. I don't have time.
Oh yeah.
You know, I have an 11 hard stop.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Initiative, sure. I can make it work.
You
I'll
went
be
to
fine.
send the result, but there was no tracker.
Try that again. Oh, sorry. Yeah, try that again. Just reroll if
Okay.
you can.
Dude. That's a lot better. That's a natural 20.
Stop. Just get some help, please. Okay.
So if I'm understanding this, we can't do anything until we make our will save, right?
No, you
You can
can
still, like,
attack
attack
people.
with
You can
them.
move it.
Okay.
You're moving shoot
Yeah.
man
You just
until
can't-
further
yeah,
notice.
Can't use feats.
All right, I'm adding you to the turn manually because I don't have time
Sure.
to have you reroll it. 29.09. I'll use it.
Go ahead.
Cancel
Can we make
that.
this check at the end of our turn or the beginning of our
At the end of your turn. So, starting at the top of your turn, Azatrana Skyleaper, you have seemingly been struck dumb by this strange floating being who's hovering above you. What would you like to do?
I would like to. I think this doesn't require an action. It is just a passive thing. It's how high above?
Floating obnoxiously about 10 feet above your heads, so kind of flush with the ceiling, honestly.
Cool. I am going to climb up and adjacent to it, up the wall.
Okay. You climb up and adjacent to it,
I
and
have
you are
a-
now standing next to it.
And
You have spider climb?
I have no.
Yes.
I have just a passive climb speed. I forget what gives it to me. It was very complicated.
Climbing master?
Probably.
No,
We-
it was.
There are ample handholds. Let me just say that.
I think it was a race thing, but I have 50-foot climb, 50-foot land, and 50-foot swim. But it's a
Jeez.
passive. It's not doesn't
Movement
require an action or
master.
anything. Yes. That's why my jump thing was so high.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna try. Is this thing? It's floating, or it looks like it's like standing on the ceiling?
It is floating obnoxiously.
And then I'm just gonna bash its head in.
All right, what are you gonna use?
Unarmed.
Unarmed strike.
Let's see. Melee.
Out of curiosity, are your unarmed strikes magical?
No.
They pass harmlessly through its body.
Oh, this is trouble.
It turns to you, sort of, kind of like its neck kind of like snaps, as it like has this very jerky, almost like clockwork kind of vibe to it. You know, like every movement it makes is this sort of jerky and sudden thing, and it just reaches out with its hands and attempts to wrap both of its hands around your neck and choke you out. Two attacks, full attacking.
Do I get a will save? Since it's the end of my turn.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Roll your
19.
will save. 19. Checking notes. Ooh, the DC is a 20.
Oh.
Tragic. Now you know. All right. Rolling first attack. That's a 25 to hit EAC.
Misses.
Okay, and the second attack is a... Whenever it decides to load.
Oh, it's acid.
31 to hit
Hits.
EAC. So you managed to like shrug off one of the hands, but the other one slams into your chest. Not slams, really. It just kind of touches, and immediately the nanites that comprise this thing's form swim down its arm and begin chewing away at your body. It leaves a pretty sizable dent in your armor, and it leaves you feeling kind of like ragged breath as you... How close that was. All right, next we have... What would you like to do?
Okay, so I can fire my weapon, right? I just
Sure,
can't use
yeah.
any of my abilities.
Nope.
I'm not within its reach right now, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, no. As far as you can tell, you're not.
Well, we're gonna find out shortly. And by the way, this is where I become the target if I hit.
Sure.
Because it will hurt.
Okay.
Wait, do I do the save before or after?
After.
Okay. I'm assuming a 21 misses.
The 21... Is it EAC or KAC?
EAC.
EAC.
EAC?
Nice.
EAC? Yeah, no, that actually hits. 36 points of
36
damage.
damage.
Oh,
Okay.
damage.
And you can see as the ice tears through its body, part of the shards and flecks actually pass clean through it. But some of it still does manage to connect with it. If I recall how this rule works. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I recall how this rule works. Okay. So, next in
And,
line,
I need
we've
to
got...
make a s-
Yes.
save.
Roll a
Am I
save.
prevented from using spring attack?
Nope.
Spring attack,
That
yeah,
was a pretty good roll.
I'd say spring attack is also something that takes an action. Like, it has, like, an element of,
Okay.
like, training to it. Yeah.
All right. Well, she's going to fly straight up, like just gonna reel herself in, gain some momentum, and just shoot straight up. In midair, she's gonna flip and come straight at her with her feet, charged
yeah.
with the key energy of her inner being.
And I believe those do count as magical,
These
so
do count as magical attacks. Yeah,
go for it.
my inner key is strong. And let's see how badly I roll.
Space monk, space monk, space monk. Thankfully, there's only 4 people on this turn tracker, so turns won't take forever. 25 hits, 23 points of
23.
damage. Again, your feet almost feel like they should hit more than what they do, but you feel something catch for sure, you know?
These boxes are like probably high enough for me to land on.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
And
She's
you're
just
you're
laying
actually
there with one foot, and the other foot is raised up. The other leg is raised up in this, like.
That's
kung fu
fucking
pose.
cool. All right. Well, then we've got Azatrana. It's your turn. You are locked in combat with this thing.
My
Your
turn
fist
again.
just literally sailed through. Yeah.
Okay. I am going to drop to the floor.
All right. That's 30-foot drop.
Oh, I thought you said it was 10 feet.
Nope.
But okay.
It is 30 feet. He was 10 feet above
Then-
you.
Okay, then instead, I will walk back down.
Okay.
Triggering an
Where is
AOO.
there a wall here? I don't understand.
Why is
I'm
there
on
a
the
wall here?
ceiling.
Oh, he's on the ceiling?
Yeah, he was
I'm-
on the ceiling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Can you do guarded steps?
I'm getting back to the ground. Because to
Oh.
climb,
Alright.
you have to have 3 limbs.
Okay. The inevitable strikes out at you.
I have mobility.
Okay. So it has to roll better than, it has before. Literally ever has before.
Yeah.
It's okay.
32.
I believe in it. Yeehaw. Jesus Christ.
And then I will draw my rifle and fire at it.
Oh, technically that would have hit. Oops. Okay.
30,
Dirty 20?
Well, if that technically would have hit me, then hit me.
Okay. 15 points of acid damage as it does tag you on your way out, sort of
Okay.
grasping onto a leg. Because for some reason it's not adding my mod again. But that's okay.
So yeah, does a 20 EAC hit?
20 to EAC unfortunately misses, the shot going just ever so slightly wide.
Alright.
Okay, moving on. I believe it's its turn now. Please. We'll
Don't
get
forget your
there.
will save.
Yes,
Alright.
please roll the will save.
Yes! Someone broke it! Yes!
Oh, now it's adding the
We'll
modifier.
break it now,
Jesus.
right?
Yeah. All right. So you're good. You have now broken free from it, and you remember how to do shit. Unfortunately, the rest of your friends are still
Rest
in
of my
the
shit
tank
is
with
not
it.
magic.
My damage output goes up if I kill finished.
Okay. It is going to turn, and it's gonna do its shit again. It's just gonna try to reach out this time twice at new 6, because that is better than what it has, and it isn't feeling super threatened right now. So, strike 1, trying to lash out at the nimble. Ooh, yes. The nimble Kyle in front of it. It strikes once. Wow. That should be a 26 to hit EAC. Or, sorry, a 22 to hit EAC.
Oh, 22.
22 misses? Okay. Second attack. Use roll 20, they said. It's fine, they said. That should be a 4 plus 12. I'm gonna guess that's a
16?
no.
No, wait.
Yeah, 16 misses. The nimble Kyle lives up to her reputation, dodging, dipping, ducking, diving, and dodging away from the strikes. All right, well, Cal, it's your turn.
Did that register?
No.
That was weird.
Everything's taking forever. I don't know what's going on with roll
Oh,
20.
wait. No, I made a mistake. It
Uh.
popped up and I didn't see anything. That misses, I assume.
Yes! Shot goes wide as you also try to lay some fire into this inevitable suppressor. Oof. Alright, roll me a will save. 16 does not cut the mustard.
Person.
Moving on. New 6. It's your turn.
Just gonna do a single attack,
Sure thing.
kick.
Snap kick this man in the
Snap
face.
kick.
Nice! I don't think it's immune to crits, so fuck yeah. That deals 40 points of damage halved.
And freaking kick, scattering the motes of particles.
Oh yeah, nanites go flying
Grab
across,
that.
some of them
Oh, no.
landing into the wall and like leaving little smoking craters behind as it staggers. A few gears clatter out of it and like sink through the floor, lost to eternity. Minus. Okay.
No critical effect. Okay. And then she will spring, flip backwards and away.
Mhm.
Still has a flight speed.
Okay.
Check to tumble backwards. If it fails, she has some mobility, so you can roll an attack. And then
It
she
did
will
not
just
fail.
leap backwards and plant herself against the wall, instantly grabbing onto it with a firm handhold.
Okay.
21 acrobatics tumbles away.
Yes.
Oh wow. Note to self.
Well, I have a reason. I was trying to. It's your
It's an
turn.
opportunity on didn't it? Yeah. Oh no, it didn't.
No.
I mean,
Okay.
even if it did, it
That's
did not
reaction.
take it.
Okay.
Yeah, it did not take it.
I will fire again.
Okay, go for it.
21.
Actually, I think it's already used its reaction, didn't it?
No, it used its reaction on Ozatrana and then it had its turn.
Oh, okay.
21 EAC.
21
Maybe
DEs.
is my will save.
Hey, nice!
Hey, you're
Hey.
free.
You snap out of it. You have your abilities back. Hell yeah! All right, 21 to hit EAC, right? Is that what I'm?
EAC,
Is that what
yes.
I'm tracking?
Yes.
Okay. 21 absolutely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Energy and fire combo.
Energy, electricity. It's plasma, right? That's
Yes.
what you said?
Electricity and fire. Sorry.
Weirdly enough, it feels like it does less damage than it should.
What the fuck? All right.
I'm sorry. It just seems to be specifically built to fuck you over. But yes, it is immune to electricity.
I have a laser rifle. Don't know if it's magical, but I have a laser rifle.
You know what? You do. So it takes 5 points of damage from that attack. God, resistances are funny. Okay. Its turn. It's going to. Oh. That's not how that ability works. Okay, never mind. It saved its reaction for nothing. That's my bad. It's going to. In lieu of ending this battle, it's going to reach out its hands and it's going to fling a greenish bolt, or no, a whitish bolt of its nanites at Azatrana in front of it. Hiya. I'm going to roll this as a ranged attack, but it's going to be a spell. I promise. Oh, I'm just gonna roll it manually. Fuck it. Whatever.
A little later, but not much. Like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's not
max.
gonna last. Yeah, it's not gonna last very much longer. 22 to hit the AC.
Misses entirely.
Jesus Christ. Okay. And then it flies 30 feet this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 this way. And kind of dips down a little bit just past this and is firmly behind this 15-foot stack of crates. All right.
So it's right
Out of
now
sight.
hidden.
Yeah, I mean it's not hidden in so much as it's out of sight. You can still see the glow of it behind the crates. Oh, it doesn't need to fly over it. It just flies through it. Right. It's incorporeal. Well, go for it.
I'm moving. I'm just trying to figure out distance. Sorry.
Got it. No worries.
15, 20. Guess I can sort of end up there. And it has full cover right now? Partial cover? How does that work?
I don't know where you are currently.
Where I was to start with.
It
where I
has
was-
it has total cover
2
from
feet
you.
high walls.
Yeah, you can't see it at all.
Oh yeah, and you're small.
Yeah, I'm going to have to ready. Or,
Ready to see if it
Hopefully it-
reveals itself?
You gotta chase it. Oh, it's getting away.
Yeah.
New
you know what?
six.
I'm going to go down and move there. I'm going to move
Okay.
there. That's all I can do is
New
move,
six.
and
is
I'm
your turn.
going to make a save.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Keep going. I just have to pull it up. I
sure.
had to close things out.
New 6, it'll be you. 19 is
It
not
didn't
it.
descend, right? It stayed at the same height pretty much.
Yeah, it just like flew through the boxes because
All right, she's going to just get a grip, tense her muscles, and push off that wall and fly 40 feet straight out.
Jeez.
Woo! Hell yeah! The Dragon Ball Z build.
And is
Flash teleport.
flittering through the air. Then she's going to grab this wall here as she lands because she has to land. She
Okay.
can't indefinitely fly. She has to land after each action. So grabs the thing with her iron grip and delivers a sidekick.
Hell yeah!
Down
Flying through the air,
barrier.
wrapping your leg around, trying to slam your foot into this thing. Go ahead.
Charged kick.
27 hits, 12 points of damage. So very close. This thing is looking rough now with gears now reliably falling off of it. It appears to be very, very close to death. I almost gave it 115 hit points. Whoops. All right, Shauna, it's your turn. Woo!
All right, let's get some flavor in here. I drop my rifle. I'm gonna climb and skitter up the wall to the side,
Okay.
till I can see it. So 20 feet up, uses my normal speed, and then 30 feet over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Uh-huh.
2 legs and a hand on the wall. I pull out my pistol, which has a grappler attached to it. I'm gonna shoot it at the amulet on its chest and try to yank it off of it.
Nice.
Interesting.
that.
All right,
Here's the thing.
go ahead.
This is where it gets confusing. My gun has a fusion on it.
Your grappler does not.
The grappler and the line does not, so I don't know if that counts, but I'm still trying this.
Okay.
17.
It's a really cool idea, and if it had hit the KAC, I might have considered it. But unfortunately, no. Your grappler passes through its body.
Okay.
The fuck are you doing?
You're trying to grapple hook a ghost. All right, the inevitable turns to Nusix, and as some sort of Hell's Heart kind of thing, and it goes and it attempts to wrap its arms around her and dissolve her. No other modifiers, please. That's is that really a 8 plus? Jesus Christ. Apparently, it's my turn to roll poorly. Alright, cool. Is that really an 18? No, it's an 18 plus 12. That's a 30.
That's a hit.
Okay, cool. The second hit does manage to finally get a good hit in on Nusix, dragging its hand across her torso, leaving behind this sort of blackish mark as the nanites eat away at her. But it is not long for this world. What Cal? Go for it.
Just
It's acid. Still.
Sorry.
Roll 20's betraying me.
Points, right?
It says acid.
Oh yeah, it says acid there. Never mind. Roll 20's fine.
Oh, at the top. Yeah.
All right, what you got? Then take a shot. Shoot your shot.
21.
You
AC.
shot the shot. 21 absolutely hits the AC. Oh my god, I got 15 points. I did 14 points of damage.
Nice.
Oh, you did exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, what
Now
it
I break the will save.
hey,
Oh wow,
finally
and
did it.
good
Good
finish,
job.
yeah. This thing
Nice.
casts
All
a
right,
spell.
it has 1 HP.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
New 6 just hate it. It had 15 HP.
The kicker is, if I had managed to break it last turn, it would be dead now. I
Oh,
guarantee it. Oh no, couldn't. No, that would have been a move action. Never mind. I retract.
Oh, KC.
Was that a single strike?
Do full attack. Sorry, how did I do that? Oh,
You can just roll again. If 12 is 12 your normal to hit?
that's my second attack. Oh my god.
Oh wow, a comedy of errors here. It's just this thing is like falling apart, but you just like because it's so falling apart, it's hard to land a decent hit on it. How's it trying to?
if this hits, I swear to God, this is gonna be hilarious. Pops the grappler off, aims the level 1 shitty pistol with a fusion on it, and fires.
Oh please.
Oh
Nope.
I wanted it to happen, but it did not.
Nope. It gets another turn.
I will use my move to go over and grab my rifle. Or, well, get over my rifle. I can't grab it.
Attempts to leave. Straight down through the floor. New 6, you get an attack of opportunity.
Awesome.
Didn't think we'd be stealing from ghosts.
Oh.
Oh, that hit.
There we go. And as it turns tail and attempts to save itself, you manage to get a good hold on it. Would you like to flavor your kill against this?
Let's see. Yeah, so she, as this thing flies down, she will let go of her grip just enough to build enough momentum to double swing kick right into the center mass of whatever nanites this thing has left going on it, and just does like this crazy scissor kick, swirling it all into a tornado that dissipates into nothingness.
Oh, that's fucking cool. And as New 6 strikes a pose as she lands,
It's good.
hands wide apart, the nanites dispersing around her. She looks fucking cool. And we'll go ahead and say, Serve, thank you so much. You don't have to stick around for wrap up if you need to go. It's not going to be very long. But yes, your mission complete. You now have successfully found the little vault thing. I hope you enjoyed this little one shot. And
It's fun.
yeah.
Yeah, you gotta, when you play these one shots, you gotta play society games. You're like, let's go. Like, don't fuck around with this stuff. We gotta keep moving.
God, I've been working on getting better at making one shots actually one shots because I keep wanting to throw in all these cool ideas and like little traps and fun
It would be a
things.
crime because then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
just a little bit left, and it's like, you don't get the closure of it. That was fun. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
thank
for
really,
setting
you.
really
this
like
up.
this.
It was enjoyable. I
I'm
enjoyed
glad.
making this character. I really
Here's
want
the
to play this
question.
Yeah,
character
she's
again at
cool.
some point.
Did we get
Yeah,
8,000
she's
credits
cool.
or 10,000 credits because of all the
You get
bodies?
8,000 credits because you only found 5.
Oh wait, I thought the 6th one was on its
Oh,
chest.
the medallion was on him.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone? It like ate
Yeah,
it?
it's gone. Yeah, the medallion's gone.
Okay.
Well, the medallion was part of it and it just dissipated.
Oh, interesting.
Oh well. But no, he gives you 8,000 credits. I'll say that. If
Your mic fucked up. You are
Oh.
currently mute. Now you're good.
if you ever get the chance to play these characters again, yeah, I'll say that you're 8,000 credits richer, even if I'm not the DM. Fuck it. Tell them that
Yes.
tell them I
alright.
sent you.
When I reuse this character as level 1 for next campaign, I will make sure.
Starting gold, 8,000. What?
On
Where'd
top
that
of
come
starting
from?
value.
Uh-huh.
That was
Yeah.
good.
The wrap up totally goes fine. Navix is super happy with working with all of you. The dead people get cleaned up by professional cleaners. That's another thing that you don't get 10,000 credits for, is because They deduct
Yeah.
the cleaner's fees from you, but that's fine because it's 8,000 credits for a relatively simple job in and out.
You know
And
what
you'll never know what was in those crates.
I know.
How tragic.
You know what I really wanted to happen, just because it
What's
would have
that?
been amazing? I
What's
wanted us
that?
to get attacked at the very end and we had to escape, and Asatrana just left off the building.
Well, the only question is, we have to wait 15 minutes for him to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can look through the crates.
No. Your characters will know. You won't.
yeah.
And you'll show up to the next one shot and your characters will be like, man, was that crazy or what? Yeah. Anyways.
As soon as you said as soon as you said all of these things were fist sized, I'm like, oh yes, Asatrana has a hidden limb.
Oh no. You're gonna hide him?
Well, that was my. If we got attacked, I had the idea, shit, throw it in the hidden limb and haul ass and leave these two behind.
As it so happens, no, the reason that he told you to not bother with them, but you get extra points if you do, is because when you touch them, they turn into those things.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Why
So it's a good thing you didn't pick any up.
Did it go off?
Why did the 6 one
Because
go
I
off?
probably stepped on one.
Who knows? That is a
Definitely.
mystery.
Yeah. Some other
I'm
bounty
still
hunter.
confused as to what the invisible shit was.
The invisible shit? Neutronium golems. I'll just tell you that. They're cool as shit. In light, they're invisible. And in the dark, they're pitch black.
Why was there one here?
Dude, there was 2.
Security.
And they're used, yeah, they're used most often by security. Often by drow, though sometimes by other folks.
They
About
just killed one.
6 points.
That's all.
What's
See
up?
you guys.
See ya.
Yeah!
So
See you, sir. Thanks for coming.
they were both dead, or one was dead, and one just went off somewhere, or it left us
They were
alone
both
'cause
dead.
We had the thing. Oh, they're both dead.
They were both dead. It's just when they die, their corpses don't lose the ability to be invisible
Ah.
in light.
I was like, this is some more SCP shit going on here. Gear body,
I mean,
invisible, like what's going
Kind
on?
of. It's essentially a radiation black body. It's immune to lasers.
Oh my god. I was so disappointed when my hand passed through. I'm like, yes, 2d6 plus 18. I'm gonna. Oh.
Oh, I was so sad. I was like, oh, this is kind of unfortunate, isn't it? Oh no.
Yeah, I
Aw.
kind of wanted to do. I don't remember the name of the movie, but the one where they basically like ride the motorcycles out of the top of the building and then parachute
Oh,
down.
Wild. That's
I was-
wild.
Yep.
So also the kicker is, even if the other guys had gotten here, had somehow managed to get into the vault, facing this guy, they'd be
Yeah.
dead.
If they had
Because they
energy
have
weapons.
nothing that can affect them.
No, they have energy weapons.
No, they had lasers.
Yeah, lasers affect this thing, not the.
No, she
invisible.
said. Oh wait, is it the other thing the lasers don't affect?
No, the golems, the lasers didn't affect the golems. That's why they had.
Yeah.
That's why they were calling for backup because their guns didn't work. So they had to
How did the
engage it in.
golems die then?
Because they engaged 18 things in hand-to-hand combat,
Oh.
and the way that
Punch the tank to death.
troops, yeah, the way that
Work
troops work,
differently.
they auto hit
Ah.
because there's so many of them. So there's only so many times you can take 1d4 plus 12.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, the troops sort of fucked you up in melee. Here. I mean, they're like honestly, troops are super cool. I love using troops as a way to present challenges to high-level characters while also illustrating how powerful they are.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a very good way to go about doing it. Yeah.
Because like
It
it's a
keeps it-
mixture of
yeah.
like, it's a mixture of like, holy shit, I'm taking fire from 15 dudes at once. I'm getting hit for like 30 damage a turn, but also every single time I attack them, 5 people die.
Yeah.
I'm tearing through these assholes, you know? Like,
That actually works as a really good, like, not like a power comparison, but like it still keeps the mentality of the challenge and the danger.
yeah,
in
it also
level.
makes it a lot easier to present a difficulty to high-level characters without relying on esoteric monsters or ridiculously powerful NPCs, you know?
Yeah, or 15 people who have a plus 12 to hit, and you get
Yeah.
fucked.
Because it so happens that their plus 12 is just, there's a lot of bullets.
Yeah.
So that's why I like troops. I like using troops a lot. I'm really happy with that rule set that came out.
Yeah. The big problem or annoying thing for me in the beginning is my character was still hidden when Skyleaper wasn't, and I still wanted to start making quips as the two others threw people over the. building.
I love that. As soon as they're like, he's near the bridge, I'm like, huh. I wonder how close.
That was great. I really like that.
I
really
am
like
very
that.
surprised it actually worked immediately, and then Serve came in back to them, did the same thing. I was not.
Yeah, it
My
was
dice
cool.
luck. My
Oh,
dice luck showed up today. I don't know where
was
it's been the last year. but-
yeah, right.
Well, I take that back. It's in my Pathfinder game. I've got a lot of natural 20s in my Pathfinder game. For some
It's
reason.
fun to play with Serve. I kind of wish Scherzel was here, but you know, it went quickly with 3 people to a
This
point where I
was-
think it was kind of to our advantage.
This
But-
was so weird. At one point, all I was rolling was 1s and 20s.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But the
100 to
kicker
0,
is,
Flip a
baby.
coin.
every single time I missed, I rolled really well on the will save. Please note I failed, but I rolled really well on the will save.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least enough that I would have hit if I just reversed those 2 rolls.
So by the way, in order to make the last fight not last forever, I heavily nerfed the monster at the last moment so we could get Serve in for the ending of it.
I figured so.
I cut its HP by 1/3 and I removed its ability to turn invisible because I just felt like it would take too
Oh,
long.
God. Yeah, invisibility.
Visibility would have been annoying. That probably would have done a lot more to it.
That.
Yeah, and you remember how I said that sometimes I just have too many neat ideas? I was gonna make it so it would start detonating crates and stuff like that, and it would remain invisible because that's how invisibility works.
Mhm.
But I was like, yeah, let's just make it a slugfest
I'm
so
not
we can
sure
get
how
this
it would
done.
actually manage to hit it then.
You weren't gonna do the
Oh, yeah.
classic invisibility etheric shards combo.
Oh wait!
Oh, I really wanted to slap a caster because originally I was thinking like, well, what if they go and they see the Azure Mercs and they try to talk to them, and they say, oh, maybe they talk them down. Oh, then they'll fight the golems. Oh, maybe they don't talk them down. What will the Azure Mercs do? Stand and fight? No, they're gonna retreat over the bridge, maybe lose a few dudes, but then set up an ambush. And I was like, oh, what if when they set up an ambush, we could pigeonhole them into this like sort of opening area in the vault,
Funnel.
and they'll slap etheric shards behind the party and on top of the party, and then just light them up, and there'll be no cover, and they'll have to deal with getting a corner ambush. Then I was like, no, it's fine. What happened here was fine. I actually set up the corner ambush. It's very amusing to see the troop. Here, let me show you what the troop looks like.
I wasn't sure that when we were if we were going to evacuate going across the bridge, there wouldn't be a whole nother group of troops
Oh
on the
my
other side of the
God.
bridge.
It's
Oh, that's
just,
neat.
It's just a bunch of dudes. That's why I was laughing so much at the start of the session. I was like, this looks dumb as fuck.
Well, I would have really enjoyed it because I have what is this? Spring attack, and I could just climb over them with mobility. I could just
Yeah.
say, "Fuck you guys, I'm out of here," and then jump off the building like I wanted to.
So that was kind of fun. I enjoyed using the captain as well. Like, I don't know,
I liked
yeah, I had fun with it.
This was the exit portion.
This was you pulled the Azure Mercs without getting around them first.
Yeah,
They would have gone.
Oh.
We just like snuck by them, and then when they caught up to us, they're like, "Wait, something's wrong. All these guys are dead. The door's unlocked. What's going? Wait, how was the door padlocked?" Now that I think.
The door was
Oh, wait,
padlocked.
no. For some reason, I thought the bodies were inside the padlocked room, so I was like, "Wait, how does that?" Work?
No. The bodies were outside, and I
yeah.
skipped the description of this room because it just wasn't relevant at that
Yeah.
point. But this section would have been on your way, like through the office space, on your way to the vault, and they would have set up an ambush for you in it.
Yeah, I definitely at that moment would have been like, "Yeah, bye."
Bye.
I almost thought we were going to try to go back across the bridge and there'd be bad guys coming down, and it's like, you know what? We're going to find a different way down this building
Mhm.
because that bridge isn't going to be here in about 5, 4, and then I shoot the inactive detonation
I
thing
thought
in the
we were
middle.
gonna climb up the outside of the building.
You could have. You could have done
I
all sorts of different
well, I
things.
debated on that, but then when Waqual was like, "I can't climb," I'm like, "I have nothing for him to grab onto." So, and we're
I
gonna be going like
quickly made
500
I quickly
feet.
made the character with not trying all sorts of.
Mhm.
I have this equipment, this equipment, this equipment. No, it's like I have my little computer, my little exocom.
I like it.
Gives me most of the stuff I need. Just throw in a few equipment pieces and be done with it.
I spent.
I had at one point had the idea of, wow, wouldn't it be cool if I had this? But it's a 10,000 GP thing, and then I would have
Yeah.
literally not cared about the bridge.
I spent like 18
I would have just
on my
walked
armor.
across it. Huh?
I spent like 18,000 on my armor.
Oh no, if I had spent 10,000 on what I had, one of the things I had considered, one of you might have fallen into the pit. I wouldn't have.
To the pit. Oh,
I'd just walk across it.
I mean, oh wait. I know what you're talking about, but I forget the name.
Yes.
You have to end your movement on solid ground.
No, not not at the higher GP
Oh,
amount.
you were gonna get the force pack.
Yes.
You just walk up air up the side of the building.
Oh, look! Oops.
Yeah. I guess that is an
Yeah, that would have been another thing at that point. Of course, if we were walking up the building, they probably would have shot at us.
Well, then that's why I asked, like, if we went across the lower bridge, if they could see us.
Well, if we were across the lower bridge anyway, the other solution is, oh, look, they're firing at us from the bridge. We're going to shoot the bridge.
Well, yeah, that's what
And
I'm
then
saying.
duck.
All right, dears. I am going to head out for the time being. Thank you all, both of you, so
Thank
much
you.
for
Well,
popping by.
that was very,
I'm
very
glad.
enjoyable.
I'm glad you had some
Your
fun.
DM experience very adamantly showed. I will easily say that.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I appreciate it. Well, until next time, friends. Have a good night.
You as well. Thank you.
Thanks again. Have a good night, all. I'm going to go to bed.